So welcome. This is the. I want to pronounce your name correctly, so I said Abu T the first time. It's Abu Taymiyyah.
I think you incorrectly put it on the internet.
I incorrectly put it? What,
it's all right, don't worry.
What, the title's wrong?
No, it's fine, it's fine.
What is it?
I just laughed when I saw it in it. It's Abu Taymiyyah.
Oh my God, my team. That wasn't me, that's my team. Okay.
Don't worry, man. It's absolutely fine. It's Abu Taymiyyah.
I didn't type it. Tell my team.
No reason, man. It's a difficult name to pronounce, so don't worry.
I know, but they could have spelled it properly. Yeah, it's just every single time. They're white people. They're okay.
Well, you got like a whole team doing this at this moment in time?
Yeah, there's maybe 3 guys watching, and we have the camera guy. It's a big operation, but it's the first podcast I'm doing it like pretty. You saw me pretty scuffed setup. It's
alhamdulillah, mashallah, man.
So what do I call you?
You can call me Abu Taymiyyah.
Abu Taymiyyah. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, man.
I learned. I was thinking a lot about like our conversations since we first started talking, and you had me reflecting. But I want to get to know like where are you from?
I don't normally disclose that on camera, my ethnicity, but
yeah. The region?
Well, you could say I'm an Arab.
Okay.
You know. So yeah.
Are you from the UK?
Yeah, I'm from the UK. Yeah.
Where?
I live in Leicester. It's like 2 hours from London. Yeah.
I don't think Americans know much about Leicester besides Jamie Vardy.
Why Leicester, exploded not so long ago, a couple of years ago when they won the Premier League. They were just promoted.
They said it's spelled. This is where they
they got it wrong. But anyways, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Which channel is this?
This is my YouTube channel.
So they spelled it wrong from this?
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry, man. It's fine. Don't worry about it at all, man. Absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, one thing I really do want to say is I really commend you for taking the trip to come all the way here to ask questions, right? SubhanAllah, yani, it's something that you would normally do when wanting to seek knowledge, right? People would travel from one place to another, maybe take 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes from one side of the world all the way to the other. So, SubhanAllah, to just see you so determined, wanting to ask questions and wanting to learn, it's honestly really pleasing to say. Right, so may Allah reward you for that. Coming all the way from Mecca, staying here for maybe even less than 24 hours, and then to go back again. Yeah.
I'll pay for it. No,
it's fine. No, it's fine.
You're my guest.
You're my guest here.
My guest.
Habibi.
No.
لا تأخذ منه.
Oh.
Come on, man.
I'm tired of everybody in the Arabic world paying for everything. It's really.
You're not from Medina. I'm currently in Medina at the moment. So you're my guest. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I would say I came here like trying to. We spoke about this, trying to cleanse my soul. It was getting like pretty. We were talking to your friend over here too, Mohammed. He was saying that the way he doesn't want to. Or whatever. There's a million Mohammeds here.
Yeah.
Anyway, the West the whole place is filled with shaitan, and especially the industry I'm in. It's really inhumane. People here, like the way they interact and everything, they look you directly in their eye. You're actually having a genuine exchange with everybody, and it's like an escape from all that. It's like every single time for prayer, it's as big as Rolling Loud, but there's no Beyonce, Lil Uzi Vert. It's just people worshiping God, and I did think I found some of the knowledge that I was looking for. Yeah. Do you recommend that new Muslims come here immediately, or should how do we seek knowledge?
Without a shadow of a doubt. I remember when I first started practicing. It was coming to perform Umrah that really helped me on my way, right? This is the ideal place to come if you really want to cleanse yourself, right? From all the filth around you, as you could probably appreciate that you feel very rejuvenated, you feel spiritually uplifted, right? Coming here, being in that kind of environment is a huge difference. I remember it really, really helped me, even though, subhanAllah, when I left, I wasn't in the best of places. But when I came here, right, I didn't even want to leave. I wanted to run away from my parents. Even crossed my mind to go behind one of the pillars as my parents, they were leaving the Haram, the Mecca, where you just came from. I just wanted to run away from everyone. Not many people know this. I remember the last day before we left, and I think at the time I was only like last year of secondary school. I'd normally be like 16, 17 years of age, right?
50.
Yeah. So I was around that age. We came, and I started asking the hotels if there's any jobs available, right? I just wanted to run away from the West.
Right.
This is back in, I'm going to give up my age, but I was around 16, 17 years of age.
Okay.
I remember, subhanAllah, all of these different hotels that you see in front of the Kaaba, in front of Mecca,
Right.
where the masjid is, where the mosque is. I started asking, please give me a job. I don't mind doing anything. I'll be the cleaner, right? Because I didn't want to leave. So I was making a lot of dua, a lot of, supplications to God, to Allah, to give me a way back. And then a couple of years after that, I was accepted to come and study here in Medina, and they were the best days of my life. Earlier we were discussing the concept of du'as, right? Which means to supplicate God.
Prayer
and you were
for
asking,
Christians.
can I ask for a Ferrari, right?
Right. You were saying that when you go to the Kaaba and you pray, you could ask for anything.
You can ask for anything, yeah. You can
I
ask for
didn't
anything.
ask for a Ferrari. I should have now that I know that. That's not a Lamborghini. I get everybody. Get you guys whatever you want.
I remember I asked, I remember when I was saying that you may ask for something, but it takes time for it to materialize. And it may well be that Allah gives you that which is far greater when you ask, especially if the acceptance of that supplication doesn't happen straight away. So what basically happened was, years later, when the time was right, Allah gave me the best opportunity to come and study here. And honestly speaking, man, hands on heart, they were the sweetest days of my life. 6 years that I spent here, even though I went to different places in the Middle East to go and study, they were the sweetest days of my life.
In Medina or Mecca?
Medina. I would always go back and forth, right?
Yeah, the two cities complement each other.
Yeah.
I think they need each other.
Definitely, man. And of course, with the whole train service now as well, right? Look how easy it was for you to come and then to go again. I don't even take a bus or a car anymore. I just jump on the train. It's a lot easier.
I was thinking that, like, why don't we live here full time? There's something about it. There's a pull, like this is an escape. It's like a fairy tale world. It's almost too peaceful and too nice.
Hopefully, the residential system will become a lot more easier for Westerners. Of course, now, as British people, you're allowed to stay here for 6 months, right? I'm hearing that there's going to be, further change as well, where you might be able to stay here on a more permanent basis, a bit like Dubai. Hopefully, that will materialize, and we can spend so much more time, right, between the two harams, Mecca and Medina. Even though I did want to be back in Medina to do my masters, but I'm actually in Riyadh. It's like only one flight away, but alhamdulillah, my heart is really, really attached to Medina, man. Really, really attached.
How would you describe it for the Westerners that have never seen it? I don't know. I didn't know what to expect beforehand, but it just seems. I would say I could describe it as the closest thing to Jannah. Yeah. The way everybody's acting. There's no fighting. Like, I've never seen this large of a gathering
much
of people,
peace, right? Yeah.
And no one, and you know that nobody's going to fight.
Everyone just wants to worship Allah and then go home. That's all they want.
Not that heavy security either.
Yeah.
They honestly, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but they don't really check that heavy to see if you're really a Muslim or not. So people could come.
Yeah, but at this moment in time, you see quite a few of the non-Muslims walking around these hotels, so you'll see them. Yeah.
How do you think that it stays this way for so many years?
I think it's just a blessed place, Allah told us, right? إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وُضِعَ لِلنَّاسِ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّةَ مُبَارَكًا. And He told us that it is blessed, right? وَمَنْ دَخَلَهُ كَانَ آمِنًا. Whoever enters into Mecca, then he will be safe and he will have that peace and security. So it was mentioned to us by God, right? And this is probably why you see, this spiritual rejuvenation when somebody comes here. Like, you've seen that video as well, right, of DJ Khalid. When he came to Mecca, someone who's like involved in a lot of music, a lot of haram stuff. Only Allah knows the state of his, of his heart. But upon seeing the Kaaba, upon seeing Mecca, he broke down into tears, right? Really impacts you greatly, man. This happened to somebody like him, then what about anyone else? Yeah.
When did you begin to seek knowledge?
So this is approximately over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, over 10 years ago, I made the decision now to go and memorize the Quran. Right.
Are you a Hafiz?
No, yeah. So I memorized it when I went to Yemen. I first started seeking knowledge in Yemen. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, I was a lot younger, and it just gave me the opportunity to really start my journey. Yeah.
What would you recommend for people to start?
Well, first start, learning about the rights of God upon you. And this is what we refer to as the concept of Tawheed, monotheism, right? Singling out Allah in worship. Like, when you think about it, right? Islam teaches you to single out God when it comes to your worship. We only go directly to Him. We don't go through intermediaries. We don't go through a prophet, as per to say, right? So we go directly to Allah when it comes to invoking Him, when it comes to seeking His forgiveness. So when you look at Christianity, it's a little bit different. You maybe have to go to a pope in order for him to, so we go directly to God, right, to seek forgiveness, to get our supplications answered, and so on and so forth. So this is a very important element of Islam, aspect of Tawheed. And the other day when you asked me about Islam, right, we just basically touched the surface level of what Islam actually means. But when you dig deeper, you will come to know about the components of Islam itself, right, and what it actually entails and consists of, right, and comprises of. There's three main components when it comes to Islam, right? First part is al-istislamu lillahi bit-tawheed, to really submit your will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it comes to the monotheism. And in that,
the words tawheed?
Tawheed, yes. Right? وَالْإِنْقِيَادُ لَهُ بِالطَّاعَةِ, to submit your will now to the obedience of God. Right? We, right, don't live this life of just doing whatever you want. Right? We have rules and regulations, and these rules and regulations are in our own best interest when you actually think about it. The other day we was talking about the aspects of liberalism, right? Like if you don't put down rules and regulations, where do you draw the line of what is morally acceptable and what is not? Right? And we was having a discussion about red pill and whatever have you. Like think about it. If I don't have rules and regulations, where do you draw the line of what I should go and do with my body, or why I should do it with myself? It just never ends when you think about it, right?
Is that why Islam is necessary?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Like think about it. Where do you draw the line of what is acceptable morally and what is not? See what I'm saying? Right? Today you hear this concept of love is love. Right? You know that. Right. Love is love. Right? And then when you say to them, okay, why can't one have a relationship with their relatives? They turn around looking at you in a very disgusted way. But why though? Love is love, right? Where do you draw the line? It's okay now for one to have a relationship with the same gender, but when one wants to have a relationship with their sisters or with their brothers, why would that be an issue? According to your logic. Like think about it for a moment.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody now wanted to have a relationship with their parents, why would that be an issue? According to this logic. Love is love. If one wanted to have a relationship with maybe animals, like what would the issue be, Muhammad? Huh? Where do you draw the line, my friend, with regards to what is morally acceptable and what is not? You get what I'm saying? Right? Like if I start this topic, I'm going to go on for a very long time, man.
Did you ever drift away?
From the deen?
From the deen, yeah.
Yeah, there was a period where I did. Yeah.
Why do you think that happened? I think a lot of people that are watching, if they're the reverts or they're born, I think everyone in the West can relate to drifting away.
Allah, you could maybe put it down to an element of just wanting to follow your desires, right? But at the end of the day, when you do follow your desires of what you want to go and maybe experience, it'll never bring you happiness. Never ever bring you happiness. And this is why I kind of felt empty inside. I needed to really return back to Allah, return back to God, in order to be in a better position. There was even once upon a time, and I'm not proud of it, I was being chased by a helicopter in the streets of London.
How did that happen? You mentioned.
Yeah, I don't want to go into it, but right, but just put it this way, right? I didn't have the best of lives. I'm not proud of it. It's a lesson that I took away from the lifestyle that I had. Right? I needed a huge reminder of my friend getting shot in the forehead in order for me to wake up, because nobody did anything.
Did you see this happen?
Yeah. I wasn't there, but his parents wanted his body to be there at the funeral for all of his friends to see.
Did you go?
Yes. They placed his body inside of a hut type, whatever you want to call it, inside of the mosque area, just literally on the courtyard of the masjid, the mosque. And his parents wanted all of his friends to see what happened to him. Perhaps they may decide to change, right? So I still remember it like it was yesterday. The bullet hole on the side of his forehead. You would see grown men walking out of this hut in tears. So it was this funeral, and they wanted everyone to see his body. And it was, that incident that really caused me to think, right? Because nobody did anything. Nobody went to really hunt down the guy who shot him in the head. This is what gangsters would normally do, right? But at the time, no one done anything. This really made me think. If this happens to me tomorrow, right? If this happens to me tomorrow, is this what is basically going to be my ending? No one's going to do anything, right? You either end up in prison or you die, and that's it. People forget about you after a short period of time. Maybe for a couple of days they're going to be writing on X, you know, R.I.P. my friend, right? Or hit the road soon. That's what you guys say, right?
Yeah.
Or come out, whatever you guys say when somebody gets thrown into prison.
How old were you?
Huh? At the time, I was around 15 years of age. Honestly, it was a huge wake-up call. Because I used to see my friends being thrown into prison. People get upset for a bit of time, and then after that, everyone forget you, right? And that's the reality of this kind of lifestyle. The only people that will come and visit you are those who have the
means.
most care, you know, like your parents.
Your friends didn't come?
Yeah, your friends won't come, yeah.
How did you end up running away and coming here?
Coming here?
Yeah.
Running away from where?
You said you ran away from home to try to get a job at the hotels in Mecca.
No, I didn't run away. I didn't run away. We were here as a family in Mecca.
Oh, okay.
But before we left, I wanted to like literally run away from everyone to stay here. Okay. Right?
So during the trip, you were asking the hotel employees?
Yeah. While we were in Mecca, I'm asking the hotel guys, right? Is it possible for me to just get a job over here? I'll even be a cleaner. I don't want to leave Mecca. Right? Yeah, but subhanAllah, of course, I can't run away from my parents, right? So we ended up going back together. And I was just desperately all the time used to ask Allah, you know, allow me to return back to the beautiful, great lands. Yeah.
How do you think you could balance living in the West and then also when you come to a place like this and learning about Islam and that it's the truth? How do you balance a world surrounded by shaitan? Like how do we actively live in the West and balance our life and stay on our deen while knowing that it's pretty much backwards?
No, of course, not every place or locality that you visit in the West is always going to be filled with filth, right? And even if you do live, for example, in a place like Miami, I'm sure, right, just like many other people, because I've been to New York, I've gone round, and there are people that are practicing, they're trying their utmost best, right? Sometimes you do get pulled into that kind of lifestyle,
right.
But it's not a must for you to live in certain localities that is almost impossible to practice your religion. I'll tell you the story of a man who killed 99. It was mentioned to us by Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. This man killed 99 individuals. Would you believe it? And then after he killed 99, he went to look for repentance. Right? So he asked about the one who is the most knowledgeable on the face of this earth. This is an authentic narration. So he was directed to a monk. And of course the monk didn't have knowledge, so he asked him, right?
Who directed him to the monk?
The people in the city. They directed him to a monk. Right? And then the monk was asked, is it possible for me to be forgiven? Hal li min tawbah? He said no, so he ended up killing him as well. Right? He ended up killing him as well. This guy was a barbaric, bloodthirsty individual who just killed 99. I don't think you know anyone that's killed 99, right?
I don't.
Maybe they call them gangs, them cartels, and but every time they kill someone, they put a drop of, right? Like we wouldn't know people who've come anywhere near that. So he killed 99, and then he ended up making him 100. Eventually, he was directed to a person of knowledge. And just to show you, subhanAllah, if you don't have knowledge, it could actually get you killed. Not that this is justified in any way, shape, or form. No, of course not. But this is what could potentially lead you to, due to a lack of knowledge, right? So he was eventually directed to a person of knowledge, and then he told him, انطلق إلى أرض كذا وكذا. Leave where you are and go to so and so place. Indeed, there are people يعبدون الله عز وجل فاعبد الله معهم. They worship Allah, they worship God, and go and worship Allah with them. Right? So what does that show you? That the people that you hang around with can have a huge impact on your soul, the kind of individual that you end up becoming. Right?
There's a saying, if you hang on in a barbershop long enough, eventually you're going to get your hair cut.
Yeah. Or you'll end up becoming a barber, right? And that's very, very true. Very, very true. Right? Your friends go a very long way with regards to the kind of individual that you end up becoming. Right? If you're hanging around with rich people, what's the likelihood that you're going to end up becoming rich? Very likely. If you're hanging around with individuals who are maybe wasted, you're very likely going to adopt that same lifestyle. So he told him there are a group of people over there that worship Allah, go and worship Allah with them. Right? So it may well be that at times we just have to move away from that locality, which is just like 99% filth and evil. It's almost impossible.
So leave New York City or leave Miami for that?
Oh, that specific area to maybe another area.
It's difficult. I remember going to the masjid in New York recently, and you feel refreshed after you pray, and then you leave, and the next block there's like girls twerking, or there's like witches, and there's transgenders. Like as soon as you leave, you feel good, you're refreshed, and then immediately right back.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there are of course certain things that we can direct the people to hold on to. Even the lecture that I was advising the brothers who came for Umrah, I have a lecture on my YouTube channel. It's called 5 Ways to Strengthen Your Faith, or 5 means to take when it comes to strengthening your faith. It's the latest video on my YouTube channel, right? Hopefully, if an individual holds on to things like his prayer, we was discussing this the other day, right? I don't care what you're doing. It doesn't matter to me what filth you've managed to get yourself involved in. The moment you leave off that prayer, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for your life to spiral out of control. Because Allah told us, salah, the prayer, it removes the filth and the evil from your life. Right? There's even another narration, تُحْتَرَقُونَ أو تَحْتَرِقُونَ تَحْتَرِقُونَ. You burn yourself, meaning you burn yourself with sins. Right? And then you go to the prayer, actually it's like the fire guy, the fire brigade coming and shooting water at you. It cleans you, it kind of takes you out of that situation. Of course, like if an individual can't move, there are certain things I would advise him to really adhere to. But there are some cases where you just can't avoid the filth and the evil around you. In that case, one would be advised to really move out of the locality that he's in. And I'm a living example of that. I used to live in London. I was there for 5 years. After that happened, my parents moved me to Leicester, right? And Leicester is a lot more different.
Leicester's better than London?
A lot different. So much more better. You think at times you're in a Muslim country.
Really?
Yeah, you think you're in a Muslim country. The Pakistanis and the Indians have taken over.
Taken over all of England, right? I think like the white displacement in London is doubled or tripled in the last 10 years.
Leicester, they say, is the first city where the ethnic minority have become a majority.
Yeah. I've heard that all over the UK.
But mainly Leicester. That's why we call it Leicester Sharif, isn't it?
Leicester Sharif?
Yeah, the Honourable Leicester. Muhammad's laughing because he knows what I mean.
Is he from Leicester too?
No, he's from London.
Okay.
Point being, if I didn't move, I think one of 3 things would have happened. I would have either been shot dead, I would have died, or I would have been in prison. And number 3, I would have maybe gone and joined ISIS. Yeah. Because a lot of people around me, that's exactly what they end up doing. No, I'm saying I'm not ISIS, I have nothing to do with them, by the way, huh?
Okay.
Just in case you've got Fox News trying to pick things out. Right? That would have been maybe one of the 3 outcomes, and Allah knows best, right? Alhamdulillah, I was saved from all of that. Because at the time there was a very strong call for people to go abroad and to engage in these kind of stuff. But later on, a lot of them really, woke up to the reality and they stayed away from all of that. But it was a very difficult time for a lot of youngsters at the time, So,
what do you notice about students now? You mostly do lectures in universities, schools.
Universities,
talk to young people.
Yeah.
What do you notice is their number one problem? What are they lacking the most when it comes to knowledge?
I would put it down to a lack of knowledge. When you don't have knowledge, you don't know what's right and what is wrong.
Isn't that ironic considering you're doing a lot of lectures in schools?
Yeah. It's actually been really nice to see the engagements of the students and the fact that they've been attending in their hundreds, at times in their thousands, right?
Is it all Muslims or non-Muslims?
No, sometimes non-Muslims turn up.
Where's their pushback come from?
Bro, I'll tell you, right? At this moment in time, many young people are suffering from a spiritual emptiness. They are spiritually dead.
You think that's why Islam is the fastest growing religion?
Without a shadow of a doubt. It gives you that spirituality that you can't buy with money, bro.
Right.
Sorry, that can't be bought with money.
Yeah.
There's something that's missing inside of a lot of people's
soul.
Yeah, man. Bro,
felt it.
look, you felt it. I've seen videos of Fusi Tube. I've seen videos of Logan Paul, KSI.
I think everyone
Even Justin Bieber.
it.
Even Justin Bieber. There's a brother that actually compiled all of these small little clips, and I would send it to my younger brother Ibrahim. Right? I think the brother's called Smile. It was Smile to Jannah. Smile, Zishan, yes. Smile to Jannah, brother. He put it all together, just to show the people, right, that people are looking for that spirituality, that contentment, that satisfaction that can't be bought with money.
A lot of people replace it with other things like concerts, festivals,
Bro,
drugs.
think about it. Why is the drug industry a $1 billion industry? Tell me why. Why is the sports industry a $1 billion industry?
Because they're worshiping and they're trying to
They are
feel
feeding
God.
off the sadness of those who are suffering.
Yeah.
You need something to keep you distracted, to keep your mind occupied when you think about it. They call cocaine Britain's open secret.
Why?
Who do you think is consuming it? You think the junkie that you see rolling around at 3 a.m. in the morning is the only one that's consuming it?
Kids from uni.
Bro, not even kids from uni, professionals are consuming it. People are on 80,000, 90,000 pounds a year, right? Huge salaries, multi-millionaires, they are consuming it, right? Sometimes I get drug dealers, coming up to me, hoping to walk away with, a temporary spirituality boost, right? And they tell me all about it. It's professionals, engineers, doctors that are consuming these drugs, that they are selling it to. And I would advise them against all of this, right? Point being, a lot of people are spiritually dead. Even the games industry. Again, it's a $1 billion industry. The porn industry, $1 billion industry. What else? The entertainment industry. Hollywood, Bollywood, Somaliwood. You can add that to it as well.
That's
right?
I didn't even know that was
No, bro, they have their own stuff as well. They're trying to... Anyways, point being, they are all $1 billion industries. Why? Bro, they're feeding off your sadness. To keep your mind distracted. Think about it, bro. You take all of this stuff out of the equation, I think that person's going to go and commit suicide.
Right.
Why are a lot of rich people committing suicide? You tell me.
They're really... I know a lot of rich
everything.
people that are really sad.
Exactly. Depressed. Like, bro, even when you look at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, you don't have to agree with me on this, but they want to go to Mars, right? This is what they're exploring at this moment in time. I genuinely believe they're just bored of this world, bro.
They're bored.
They're looking for something else to really spice up their lives, bro, to keep them distracted, to keep their minds occupied. If you've tried everything, you're always looking for what is next.
What's next?
What can I do now? You see what I'm saying? And the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, he told us, the way the son of Adam, meaning human beings have been created, you give him a mountain of gold, that's not sufficient, he wants another, and another. The only thing that's going to fill his interior, if you get the soil from the earth and you shove it down his interior, my bro. Right? Otherwise, bro, you'll never ever be satisfied. We need God in our lives, bro.
I think this Umrah trip was genuinely the most fulfilled I've ever felt.
Like
in my
imagine
life.
that, because you've been around an environment which is filled with obedience.
Soulless environment.
Bro, our hearts, the way it's been created, it craves for its creator. That's how our hearts have been created. And many people are becoming Muslims because they find that solace, they find that spirituality within Islam.
I could never go to a festival again.
Yeah.
I notice like the similarities when people come going and to prayer back and forth, the way they walk in and out, it looks like they're leaving Coachella.
Yeah.
The difference is what they're worshiping. And then you make the comparison, the people that go to Coachella Rolling Loud, they're worshiping the Satanist on stage who has Antichrist in there. They're saying we're all going to die, kill each other, take drugs.
Like think about it, like they get a little buzz and then back to the depression again. They're back to the sadness again. And they're looking for something. They're looking for something else now to, give them a buzz to keep them, content for that period where they're feeling. That's why the people turning to music and whatever have you against the $1 billion industry.
Yeah,
even social media, would you agree that so many people are just addicted to their phones? They're addicted to this dopamine, right? I understand.
He says he checks his phone.
Huh?
I thought you were going to Instagram right now.
No.
How do you balance social media?
Say fitnagram instead of...
Fitnagram.
Huh?
What's fitna?
Fitna means temptations.
Temptations.
Yeah.
It's since I came here, I haven't listened to music at all in a week. I haven't, even when someone played in the car, I should turn it off. I turn up in the sheet. I'll open the sheet in the whip, bob my head. I haven't, no haram. I think this is the 7 days I've had no haram.
It's been the most halalist, huh?
Most halal week I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Nothing. No, women are all covered.
Yeah.
I've lowered my gaze every time I take a look. no music, no alcohol, no drugs, nothing, and I feel like rejuvenated. So it's really something to.
You know, remind me of something that Tube one time mentioned. I sent it to my little brother.
G7.
Right? What'd you call it?
He says G7. That's his.
Is that his name?
It's a mindset.
Oh, okay. All right, G7. It was before his boxing game.
Right.
And he was being interviewed. The lady was asking him, how does he feel? And he was like, I felt the greatest ever. I'm just paraphrasing, right? So don't quote me on this. And he was saying, I've been on top of my prayers. I've stopped pornography. I've stopped fornicating. I've stopped drugs. I've stopped alcohol. And I couldn't feel any better. Right? This was before his boxing. I remember I think he lost at the time as well. But point being, ever since he moved away from all of these different stimulations, right? And he stayed on top of his prayer, right. He felt so much more better. Mm-hmm. Right? And I sent it around to a lot of youngsters who look up to these individuals, and it began to make a lot of sense to them. And it just further confirms what we've been telling you guys for such a long time. It's unfortunate that when we tell you what Allah and His Messenger, may peace and blessings be upon him, have said, you guys might just put it through one ear and it comes out the other. But when it's maybe like a YouTuber that you look up to, you tend to take it a lot more seriously, right?
You resonate with it.
Yeah. But alhamdulillah, you know, you'd rather be late than never, right? So I think most people are beginning to realize this now on a mass scale. A lot of youngsters are spiritually dead and empty. It's a whole different generation. That's why they're crying out, right? And they really appreciate when you tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Like America was crazy. I wasn't honestly expecting anyone to attend. Like when I saw thousands of people in front of me, I'm thinking, bro, we in the UK look at Americans as they've all gone off the rails and they're all liberals and feminists and whatever have you, which is wrong for the Brits to do that, of course, because they just see the little bit that they come across online and they think everybody's like that.
They're not wrong. It's pretty close.
Yeah, but
when the pendulum swings one way, it has to go back the other way. Yeah. I think we're seeing it. Yeah. What do you think was the major event that made it swing this way? Everybody's noticing it right now. There's some sort of spiritual awakening right now. Why do you think that it's happening now? I don't know how long you've been giving lectures.
Yeah. No, like in the last year and a half.
How long have you done this?
So I've been giving dawah, like been giving lectures and programs for the last 10 years.
And giving dawah, for those that don't know, is spreading the message.
Yeah, spreading the message of Islam. And so it's been maybe like 10 years now, coming up to 10 years. So then by January it should be like 10 years, inshallah ta'ala.
And you're noticing like something happening?
Yeah, in the last year and a half.
So I'm not wrong. Okay.
It's been very, very different to the previous 9 years or the previous 8 years. Very, very different.
Year and a half. That's when I started live streaming.
Like everything just exploded. Like I'm thinking, how come all of this is happening right now? So I would speak to some brothers. There are these twins in East London that I always speak to. I'm not going to mention their names. They don't want me to mention their names.
Okay.
Right? And they've been giving me an outlook on the whole algorithm thing, right? I really don't know how it works, but they've been trying to make sense of it. And they're basically saying we're at this moment in time where earlier I was talking about the whole, the spiritual emptiness that a lot of people are suffering from in comparison to when our parents came to Europe and to the West. Like they were looking to maybe just try out life. They were trying to experience life, right? As for this generation, they've already tried everything.
Right.
Like everything is like a fingertip away. So eventually, living in this world, experiencing the glitters and the glamours of this temporary life, you'll eventually get bored of it.
We're like, our generation is like Elon Musk going to Mars.
You could say that, yeah. You could say that, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the previous generation was Elon Musk starting PayPal. Internet's cool, it's all innovative, so you get to enjoy the worldly pleasures. But now it's all, we're all desensitized because we see everything in 2 seconds. So
they basically tried everything.
The distractions don't work.
Yeah, and they realize, okay, this is not giving me the happiness that everyone's looking for. Because everyone wants to be happy, right? But you're not going to find happiness via all of these distractions. So this is why I'm seeing such a flux of people wanting to just really hear you out. Before it wasn't like that. Before it was like, you're an extremist, you're backward-minded, you're out of touch with reality. Okay, we warned you. Go try everything. Now when a youngster comes up to me and he's not feeling what I'm telling him, I say to him, bro, no worries, go and do as you wish. I just hope you don't join that long queue of young people that are messaging me on Instagram complaining about the problems that they're going through. Bro, on a day-to-day basis, I get hundreds of messages of young people and all the time I sit there, feeling sad for them because I can't get back to everyone, right? And I'm thinking to myself, if just you had a bit of knowledge, right? A bit of knowledge in how to deal with this situation, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in. And it's like very basic, if that makes sense.
Do you think that that young people should seek happiness or just seek God? Because one thing when I was realizing during Umrah was that I never asked God for happiness.
Yeah.
I never thought about like, how do I be happy? I just thought, how could I serve you better?
No, with obedience, we are told this in the Quran. It is clearly and explicitly mentioned in the Quran. Right? من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة. Whoever comes with faith, tawheed, right? Whoever comes with that, and he also does righteous deeds, we are going to give him that happy, satisfactory life. Right?
Is it we or is it who's giving?
Allah is going to give it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Also he mentions وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِ فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Whoever now turns away from my remembrance, from my obedience, this person is going to live a depressed, wretched life.
He was right. Allah's the best of planners.
Imagine, man. And I think you've experienced that firsthand. I've experienced that firsthand.
Yes.
But if it comes from me, it'll be very different to when it actually comes from somebody who embraced this beautiful message. Right? Honestly, I'm seeing all of these guys having a go at you. Right? You know when you released that picture with all of us standing together, brotherhood, quite a few people sent it to me, and then they also sent me screenshots. And then I checked your account out, all these Islamophobes and these Christians going crazy at you, burning at the fact that you have become a Muslim. I'm thinking to myself, instead of criticizing the guy, why don't you come and try it? Right? Try to explore what led SNEAKO now to be so rejuvenated, to be spiritually satisfied, right?
I think a lot of those haters are not even practicing Christians. I think they grew up Christian, they say like, I'm a Christian, but they don't go to church, they don't pray. What I really realize is that the actual practicing Christians, they see what I'm doing with Islam and how...
And they're happy for you.
Yeah, they're happy, and they're kind of interested too. They're like, what's going, like there's something here. The actual religious people are seeing what's going on, and they think that there must be something real. It's the people that are soulless and that are looking for something instead of trying to see that maybe I'm right. They get angry, and it doesn't make me upset at all.
I do believe there are a lot of sincere Christians. I see them commenting all the time on my videos, especially when I speak about LGBTQ. Right. So there are quite a number of them that are sincere.
There's a lot in common.
Right, and of course we don't worship Jesus, right? We don't invoke Jesus or use him as an intermediary. We love him. He's a prophet. You can't actually be Muslim. You can't be Muslim if you don't believe in Jesus. He's a prophet that is beloved to us. You know what really pains me? That when people mock Prophet Muhammad, there's a huge outroar, and rightfully so. But when people are mocking Jesus, it's just like any random individual being mocked. Like as a Muslim, right? As a Muslim, it would burn me to see Jesus being mocked. It's unfortunate now, even amongst Christians, Jesus being mocked, or he's like...
I saw people dress up as Jesus for Halloween.
Like imagine that, right?
At the movies, Jesus Christ Superstar.
And they're making fun of it, like, people are making fun of him being crucified. And of course, we as Muslims don't believe that he was crucified. We believe that he was raised to God, right? وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. Point being, right... yeah, man, I invite every single one of you guys to really look into Islam. Think about it for a moment, my brothers, my sisters who are listening. Why are all these people embracing Islam? You had Andrew Tate, and then you had yourself. So many other celebrities have been looking into Islam.
And Ali Choppa, I saw, was praying in Dubai.
I don't know who that is. Who's that?
He's a young rapper. A lot of people are becoming... Mike Tyson reverted. It's good that a lot of people are really starting to resonate.
People are looking into Islam. Why? Why are they looking into Islam? It's becoming mainstream more than it actually was. It is the fastest growing religion. Why? You just ask yourself this question, right? Is it just because it's a trend? I don't believe it's a trend. People are finding within Islam that which you wouldn't normally find anywhere else.
Because it's the truth. The one thing I have to admit that I see lacking here is white people. And
white people here in Medina?
In Medina, Mecca,
we've got a lot of them at the university, right?
At the university?
The University of Medina.
The UK, Australians probably.
Australians, UK
But you have
guys.
to be walking around, there's a distinct lack of them. Considering how international it is. You see Asians, you're seeing Turkish people, people from Bangladesh, like all over the world. But I'm not seeing why do you think that is? You think that Christians have a sort of identity with whiteness and Jesus being white, God being white?
Allah, I'm not exactly sure as to the reason why.
Am I wrong for that observation?
Yeah, you're right. Thinking about it, you're actually right. There's more Asians that are here.
So many Asians.
Yeah, so many Asians, man. Yeah.
I never see them in my masjid in Miami. There's no Asians at all in Florida, but they come here deep.
Yeah. Because a lot of them work here as well. You know, a lot of Asian people, they work here. A lot of Pakistanis, a lot of Indians. It was actually them that helped build a lot of these buildings that we see. It's mainly the Asians that are working, making or erecting these buildings. Yeah. Yeah, something to really think about as to why this is actually the case. Yeah.
Maybe we just haven't given dawah properly in those countries.
Now, of course, you know, there is definitely a shortage and we do need to do more, right? A lot of us are focusing on matters that are in essence really trivial.
Right.
And there's a lot of da'wah to be given, you know, there's big fish to fry, big nuts to crack. As the saying goes, there's a lot of work to be done. And I hope, inshallah ta'ala, what SNEAKO just mentioned for all those brothers and sisters who are listening, this is something that we will be asked about, right? It's upon us all to really take the initiative to learn our religion and to go and convey this message. It's very sad that you have a neighbor for 20 years, for example, right? 20 years, for example, and then you've never ever talked to him about Islam. The only Islam that he hears about is that which they put on Fox News, maybe.
Right. The lies.
The lies that people... Yeah.
I think people are starting to wake up to that lie as well. That stereotype is not... It doesn't...
Honestly,
it
it really, you know, causes me to be happy. The fact that what Elon Musk done, man, with regards to Twitter. Because imagine this whole war that took place and... You know, it was only maybe like on Instagram and Facebook that's being run by Mark Zuckerberg, right? With all the shadow banning that's taking place and things that are being taken down.
Zuckerberg.
You know? And Elon Musk, you know, honestly, I really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank him for allowing everyone to just post whatever they needed to post so that people can come to see exactly of what is happening. People came to really look into Islam.
He played a big part in the awakening.
Yeah.
He definitely did, allowing free speech.
And I ask Allah to guide him to Islam. This is also, you know, an invitation to him to really look into Islam.
How do you think Islam and social media, how do they complement each other? Because Islam is a very traditional religion.
No, social media is a double-edged sword. You could either use it for haram or you could use it for good. Right? And there's a lot of people that are doing an immense job on social media in spreading Islam.
How has it been for you? What have you noted? You don't strike me as somebody who grew up a lot with social media. It seems like something that you do because it helps your work. So how do you find this world? You know, guys like me show up, but you don't know who I am, you know? The dude with the camera, like...
No, honestly, when I first met you, I just thought you were... Because I've seen you around before, but I didn't actually know how big you were on the streaming scene, right? My phone just exploded and everyone started telling me, SNEAKO is the big guy, huh? Like, I remember when I had the Instagram, when I first... I never actually opened my Instagram account. Some brothers suggested to me that I have to be on Instagram. I always thought Instagram was for kids. For some reason.
It was like 5 years ago, 4 years ago?
This is back in 2014, 15. Right? Some brothers actually enforced it upon me. They were like, listen, if you want to be able to get to these youngsters who are indulging in all sorts of filth and evil, you need Instagram. They might be watching 99 haram videos, and then they come across one video where you're reminding them of Allah, and it may well be the reason why they move away from all this stuff. Right? So I remember they gave me this account. They had like 800 followers or so, and alhamdulillah now it's reached over 400,000. And hopefully those brothers that gave me this account, it will be on their scale of good deeds. Right? So it immensely helped the da'wah that I've been, you know, conveying. It helped me a lot. Right? And I don't think me and you would have got to know one another
without social media.
Without social media.
Right.
Okay, بعد فضل من الله, you know, after Allah's permission. It's honestly served as a huge cause for the da'wah reaching a lot of people. Like I've got, sorry to cut you. I've got people who go clubbing on a Friday night, you know, feeling so remorseful, so regretful, and then I'm delivering a lecture on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, and they're attending, right? And they came across the content via social media, right?
It's okay to do that? It's not hypocritical?
No, like, we all have shortcomings, right? We all have flaws. You're going to fall into the shaitan's trap. I've delivered a lot of lectures on the traps of the devil and how to maybe navigate around the what's the word that I'm looking for? The tricks and the traps that he has up his sleeve, right? So you're gonna fall short as human beings. Even the Prophet of God, may peace and blessings be upon him, he said, "Kullu bani Adam khata." Every single human being constantly falls into mistakes, but the best of them, and this is what makes you distinct from everyone else that's sinning, the best of them are those who constantly keep going back to God. I say clearly and explicitly, loudly on the mic, just because you're living a certain lifestyle or your hair is a certain way or you don't wear the hijab, 6 days a week, don't let it be that you are made to feel uncomfortable attending these lectures. These lectures are there for you to come closer to Allah. That's my role in society, to bring you closer to God. And no one has a right now to prevent you from attending these classes, to make you feel a certain way. So this is why when I started saying this a lot of people who are on edge or maybe far away from the religion, they started coming to these programs.
People that were born with Islam.
Yeah, born with Islam, but they went very, very far.
I know a lot of people like that.
Yeah. They've been packing out the mosque. You know what really made it for me? I went to Minnesota, right? We had...
Minnesota, yeah.
It was crazy. Like 7,000.
There's a mosque in Minnesota?
Of course, come on.
Wow.
It's a lot of Somali. They say the biggest Somali population after Mogadishu, which is the capital of Somalia, is in Minnesota.
What are you guys doing in Minnesota?
All Somalis are there.
Why?
A lot of people live there. Why not? I'm surprised you asked me this question. You've never been there?
Minnesota?
Why?
Why would I go there? Because to see the Somalis? I don't know.
Even if you did go to visit Somalia, there's nothing wrong with that. That's great.
No, that's the only reason. What do you ski in those corn?
I don't know,
Canadians
man.
Over there?
I don't know. I just went. I was there for 2 days. And subhanAllah, from what the brothers told me, they told me 7,000 Somalis turned up at the masjid.
MashaAllah.
And it was crazy. And we had to basically evacuate everyone.
Wow.
People fainted because of how hot it was. And it was nothing but love. The fact that they all came to benefit. The reason why I'm mentioning all of that is, there was a sister who came. And you know how what they do is sometimes they just start recording and show where they are and they put it up on their Snap, on their Instagram, right?
Yeah.
There's a sister who did that. One of the brothers said to me that he went to her TikTok account. He went onto her TikTok account and she doesn't...
I know where this is going.
And she doesn't even normally wear the hijab. I think he said to me, was it that she has red hair or something? She was like a red hair sister who goes clubbing and whatever have you. But she came to that event on that day.
MashaAllah.
Better
than not going.
Yeah, better than not going. The fact that she came and she was wearing the hijab and she wanted to listen to the reminder. She wanted to become rejuvenated. She wanted to really spiritually cleanse herself, hearing the reminder. Honestly, there's good in her, right? And this is what we encourage. I don't care what lifestyle you're currently living. Come. And hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, you will eventually exit from that, filthy lifestyle that you might be living. But if you don't take them steps forward, no one's going to do that for you. You see what I'm saying?
So you don't criticize Muslims that aren't perfect?
Of course not.
I personally...
Is there anyone that's perfect?
No, Islam is perfect.
I'm not perfect. I have my shortcomings.
None of us are perfect.
Allah tells in the Quran, كَذَلِكَ كُنْتُم مِّن قَبْلِ فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. You were like that once upon a time. And then Allah blessed you. He favored you. Bro, I know the lifestyle that I was living. How can it be that I will end up looking down on someone? I was like that once upon a time. I wouldn't have liked that, right, for myself. For someone to come and look at me in a certain way. You should never ever walk past an individual, right, looking at him in an arrogant way. It could be that he's going to go home now and cry his eyes out to God, seeking or, begging for forgiveness. And because of that, he has a higher status in the eyes of God than you, Mr. Arrogant. Right? So never. If anything, we should bring them close and make them feel comfortable. Alhamdulillah, man, me saying that publicly, I think it was a huge cause of so many of the young people coming into the masjids. I've been to Canada, I've been to America. It's honestly been like an eye-opener for me. And it was so beautiful to see all of these young Muslims in the masjid when they wouldn't normally come. I heard some very nice things from brothers when I went to Canada, especially Ottawa. And they were saying brothers that they haven't seen since maybe high school days. They were there. It brought a lot of people together, all wanting to benefit. May Allah bless everyone, man. Yeah.
Have you noticed that you get attacks because you are spreading the truth? I hear that from a lot of the dawah people saying that when you start being on your deen and doing the right thing and doing good things, that you notice it too. Like on Twitter, people are always trying to attack, do you think it's safer to be with, well, I don't know how to put this, but are you going to be more protected from criticism when you're with Shaitan than when you're with God?
Let me tell you one thing, right? If you want to aid and assist the people in embracing al-Islam and learning the right thing, you want to give da'wah, you want to have the profession of Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessing be upon him, and you're not going to get attacked and criticized, you're in the wrong field. That is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, going to happen. You know, the Shaykh of our Mashayikh, his name is Muqbil bin Hadi al-Wadi'i, he would say, الذي يريد ينصر الحق لا بد أن يتكلم فيه. The one who wants to aid the truth, then it's a must that they speak about him. He would also say that if you don't want anyone to speak about you, go and hide under a blanket and stay there. You are going to get spoken about. Right? Even Waraq ibn Nawfal, he said this to the Prophet, may peace and blessing be upon him, ما جاء أحد بمثل ما جئت به إلا أوذي. No one has come with that which you have come with, except that he was harmed. Prophet Jesus was harmed. Prophet Moses was harmed. You are going to get harmed. Don't think that it's going to be plain sailing. If people are not saying anything, then know there's something wrong with you. How can you expect everyone to be pleased with you? That's impossible. You need to check your message, my friend. Right? I have to say the right thing in the right way. This is also very, very important. We have to be wise in how we articulate the information. If you're going around articulating the information in a way that people can't digest, you've only got yourself to blame if the people start criticizing you over matters that, in essence, you know, shouldn't really be the case, if that makes sense. You have to deliver that message and you're going to get harmed. You can't expect everyone to be pleased with you. Even that brother, you know, when I was speaking to the Warner, he was saying to me that he was getting a lot of trouble from the Muslims. Like, Muslims need to understand that people are on a journey, that, you know, soft advice. I don't think anyone is worse than Pharaoh. You know Pharaoh?
No.
He's the one that would humiliate and massacre the people of Moses, right?
Oh, the Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh, yeah.
Okay.
Like, this is a man that claimed, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, I'm your Lord the Most High.
He said he was God.
Yeah, he claimed, I am your Lord the Most High. He claimed.
Is that why we mummified him, to show everybody?
Sorry?
Is that why they made him a mummy afterwards?
Mummy?
Yeah.
Mummy.
Didn't they mummify the pharaohs afterwards to humiliate them for claiming that they were God?
Well, he drowned. They say that his body is currently, where is it, in Egypt?
Yeah.
Right? For him now to become a lesson for those that come after him. Having said that, the reason I'm mentioning all of this is when Allah sent Moses and Aaron, Harun, to Fir'aun, he told them, فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. Speak to him in a manner that is gentle and soft. Perhaps he may take heed. Right? We have to be soft and gentle with the people. Right? So if you want to correct someone that's giving da'wah, then be nice to him. That's why, you know, the reason I mention all of this is the Warner brother, he was mentioning this, right? So no one's perfect, and it's upon us to really, you know, help each other out. And bro, like, I've honestly stopped caring about the praises that come my way and the criticism that come my way.
You let go of your ego.
Yeah, bro, man. Because, you know, one day people will praise you and tomorrow they'll drop you. And if you attach yourself too much to people, bro, tomorrow when they're criticizing you, it's going to be very hard.
Crush. Yeah, I realized that here during Umrah is that you can't live for other people. You can't live for other people's validation, how important that is. And I think a lot of people do. Social media encourages that.
You become a slave, bro. You become a slave.
To other people's thoughts.
Very good.
And you're never going to be pleased that way. And it's a dangerous path to go down.
Without shadow of a doubt, yeah.
But not just people speaking about you, but have you noticed any evil try to come your way?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
What kind of evil?
I've been previously physically assaulted. I've been punched in the mouth. Right? And, you know, when I went to Canada, you had all the Zionists and the gays trying to shut down my programs.
Why?
Alhamdulillah, you know why Canadians are very dear to my heart? You know why?
Why?
Because not a single organization budged, akhi.
In Canada?
Yeah, in Canada, none of them canceled the programs.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they don't even have freedom of speech anymore.
Bro, we had 27 programs, and I'm a very vocal individual. I don't shy away from saying that, which is, right, correct, especially about this whole rainbow stuff and that stuff that's going on, and whatever have you, right? And let me make something very, very clear. I'm not here to incite violence. I'm not inciting violence. It's a matter of freedom of speech, right? But you're allowed to say whatever you want. So,
But you're saying that, but I saw that there was a kid that was expelled from school because he said that there was only two genders. He walked
where?
in.
Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He got expelled from school for putting on a sign that said
So they tried to basically, they wanted to demonstrate and campaign in front of the university. But eventually they didn't end up coming. Point is, the Canadians, not a single one of them cancelled the program. And I just want to really show my appreciation.
Who are you shouting out, Justin Trudeau?
No, I'm talking about the organizations, you know.
Okay.
So,
You had problems in the United States getting shut down?
Wallahi, let's put it this way, right? Alhamdulillah, I got in, we did the programs. Only Allah knows best whether I'm going to get another opportunity to go to America. You know,
It's that bad?
I think what they fear the most is influence. Yeah, they fear they fear the influence, right? Yeah. Anyways, man, alhamdulillah, you know, I can only praise Allah for whatever He's given me in terms of being able to get to the people. And
Why is it that
you will
they-
always have enemies, bro. You think you're not going to have enemies when giving da'wah? Oh, it's very naive to think like that. It really is. Yeah, you're definitely going to try and get people are going to try and harm you. Look what's happening to you. You just became Muslim, right? You're not even really going out your way to give da'wah like that, right? And look how they're treating you.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
Why is it that they fear influence the most?
Allah tells us the Jews and the Christians, they'll never be pleased with you until you follow their religion, right?
You can't become a Jew. They're never going to exceed. They don't really let you revert to.
Yeah, but until you become like enslaved to their,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
whatever they stand for. By the way, I'm not anti-Semitic. My father-in-law is actually Jewish.
Love Jews.
Huh? My father-in-law is actually Jewish. Don't ask me any more questions. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not inciting violence. But I'm just quoting the scripture. Everything that I said is in the scripture. So that's exactly what I just mentioned. This is what is mentioned there. They will never be pleased with you until, you know, even Allah tells us in another verse, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ يَزْعُمُونَ أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا نَصِيبًا مِنَ الْكِتَابِ يَشْتَرُونَ الضَّلَالَ وَيُرِيدُونَ أَن تَضِلُّوا السَّبِيلَ. You not see the people of the book. They spend with their money, right? Misguidance. Like they want to spread misguidance with their money. Like think about it. How much was spent by, many Western governments in order to spread LGBTQ, the rainbow ideology and whatever have you. We're talking about trillions. And this is mentioned to us in the Quran. They want to spread all of this stuff, so that one is moved away from religiosity, from that godly spirituality that you take from the religion. Does that make sense?
Completely. That's how I think people like me ended up here within a kameez in Medina, seeing that it was clearly trying to push people away from God.
Yeah.
Clearly. Do you speak to older people too, or just the youth?
Everyone, not just the youth. I have a variety of people that show interest in the videos that I release, because I try to teach students of knowledge. I release courses, that which is a little bit more technical, right? Where I go through books, all on the YouTube channel, and then also mothers, elderly, they say they listen to the lectures, and then you have that which is more catered for the youth, So I try to kind of like cater for everyone, and I think that's very, very important. Yeah, because everyone needs the message at the end of the day when you think about it.
Do old people have the same pushback that young people have?
I think it's maybe a little bit harder with the elders. As the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's a lot more harder.
They're not moldable anymore.
We can't say unrestrictedly, but of course there are those who are still willing to listen, but it's a lot more hard, I would put it like that. Yeah.
But it's still possible. How would you recommend people...
Because Allah can change the hearts very, very quickly, Look, subhanAllah, how Allah has changed the hearts of many. Just overnight it flipped and then they became Muslim. Look at the kind of lifestyle you had and then how you found faith. From the fortunate chosen ones. Yeah. And hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, after this life, so many other people are going to follow suit, Yeah.
How would you go about telling people to spread dawah to their family and friends without being pushy?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think our actions go a very long way. Right? Actions speak louder than words. Does that make sense? Like when they see this good treatment, like they see, you know, like for example, after someone's now become Muslim, he goes and kisses his mother on the forehead. I remember, subhanAllah, one time I told his brother this, he goes, I went and done that, and then my mum felt extremely awkward and whatever have you. But then eventually she started becoming a lot more accustomed to it. And she's thinking to herself, my son was a drug dealer, he was in and out of prison. But now he's found Islam and he's treating me so well. Islam is not that bad after all, you're right? Because the rights that Islam gives to a mother, it's like no other religion. Like the rights of God are connected in 3-4 places in the Quran with the rights of the parents. Even though the rights of God are far more superior than the rights of your parents. But second in line is, you know, the rights of your parents. SubhanAllah, it shows you the importance of that. That you can't even kiss your teeth at your parents. You can't say, oof. Huh? Even Allah tells us, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِعِلْمٍ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. Right? If they try to strive against you in taking your religion away from you, you're not allowed to obey them. You're not allowed to conform to that. However, in matters of, you know, the worldly affairs, you have to be good to them. You have to be their best of friends. You have to be kind towards them and dutiful. Even as non-Muslim parents, this is Islam for you. Does that make sense?
Yes. What's the verse in the Quran or the phrase in the Quran that's resonated with you the most?
Oh, it's many.
Are you a hafiz?
Yeah, there's many.
How long did it take you to... So hafiz is when you memorize the entire Quran?
Yeah, when you memorize, yeah.
How long did it take?
It took me around 8 months.
That's it?
Months. Yeah, it took around 8 months. But I gave it my all. I stopped everything. That's the only thing I was focusing on.
Locked in 8 months?
I was in a village. Yeah, I was in a village. Yeah. So I think maybe the verse that really, really, you know, is when Allah said, yeah.
I think that's Stream Snipers.
That's the big G. Yeah?
No?
His name is Guled.
Oh, okay.
He's Guled, you know? It's one of my most beloved brothers on the face of this earth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. I think the verse would be وَبَدَى لَهُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يَكُونُوا يَحْتَسِبُونَ. We are told, you know, after we pass away, we'll be resurrected in the afterlife, right? And that which you weren't expecting will now be displayed in front of you. You could look at this from 2 angles. At the small little things that we do out of kindness to others, or things that we might see as very trivial, right? Which then, you know, is brought in front of us. And perhaps it may be the reason why we end up being elevated in the ranks of paradise. Or it could be small little things that we took so lightly, from the sins that we would just, you know, not pay too much concern to, and then it is brought and we are held to account for it. Yeah. And so many other verses as well. So many other verses.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, go on.
What do you think that you need to work on the most? I would say personally, because what I realized here...
You're a very good host, you know that. You have a lot of questions. Normally the hosts run out of questions.
You're a very knowledgeable person, I can tell. I'm curious. I want to learn a lot. I'm a curious person. I want to learn a lot about Islam. I realized here on this Umrah trip that Islam is perfect, but all of us are imperfect.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so being here and walking around the Kaaba and praying all the time, you really get to analyze and reflect. It's way better than therapy. You have this internal monologue and you get to see what's wrong or what you need to work on the most. Can I ask you, what do you think you need to work on the most? And how are you doing that?
Well, this is an internal battle with anyone who is in the public eye. And that is remaining sincere in the good that we want to, you know, pour forth to others. If we're not sincere in that which we do, none of it is going to get accepted by God, right? So I constantly have to ask myself, am I really doing this for the sake of Allah, or am I doing it for fame? Am I doing it to get likes? Am I doing this to get shares, right? Retweets? whatever you want to call it, I have to constantly ask myself this question. So it may well be before I lecture that I have to, just kind of like rethink my intentions as to why I'm doing this. And then also while I'm recording, whatever it might be, I'm constantly asking myself, are you still doing it for the sake of God, or are you just doing this to maybe show off to people? And this will be a never-ending internal battle. Right? Fame is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Double-edged sword. And I ask Allah to accept it from us and to make us sincere. Right? And it's a battle, but we have to get through it just like everything else.
Do you like being famous?
Wallahi, it's a matter of me having to live with it. That's how I personally look at it. There were times in my life, especially when I came to Medina, I began to wish that I was never known by the people, because I couldn't sit somewhere extra people are looking at me. And now this has multiplied by tenfold ever since I graduated. And then sometimes it can get very tiring, people stopping you all the time.
Right. Especially here when you try to get away from that life.
And sometimes you just want to kind of like be alone. But because everyone knows you, they stop you constantly all the time.
Right.
And I know it means a lot to people. And I'm hoping as well, if I was to just give someone a couple of moments, that I'll be rewarded immensely for it by Allah. Because it means a lot. Sometimes just taking a selfie with the people, you see how much it means to the people.
Right. Sometimes you want that alone time. You come here as an escape.
Yeah.
And
I think I've seen some very well-known people wear masks. They would wear the imamah just like that. Even at times when I just kind of like really don't want to be spotted, I try to take this off. I leave it at home. Because I think this is the attire that I've become so known for, right? And even then people spot me. But it's more difficult for them to really identify that it's me.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you forget sometimes that you're famous?
Yeah, I think sometimes I just want to go to the shop. It's become a very different lifestyle, Yeah. I think we learned it the hard way in America. When I went to America, whenever they would say to me, do you want security? I was like, come on guys, man, forget about it.
Allows your security.
Yeah. Meaning like there's going to be a lot of people that are coming and I would just basically brush it off. But then later on I realized, okay, look, we're going to have an issue with people's lives if things are not organized properly. If there aren't enough, people supervising the area, enough volunteers. When I went to Canada, alhamdulillah, it was a lot more organized. Because we learned it the hard way, And it's something you just have to kind of like deal with. And ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to protect your heart from fame, because it could actually really destroy you.
Right.
Misusing the status that you have by maybe doing the wrong thing. Because fame sometimes, with fame it brings about women. And women can actually destroy you. Right? Can really, really destroy you. And money can be a huge fitna for a person as well. Can destroy him as well.
You've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it.
Fame
too.
as well, yeah, without shadow of a doubt.
What do you think that other da'is, that's the word, correct? What do you think other da'is have to work on the most? One thing since coming into the space I've realized, a lot of them, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of battles in the Islamic community. They have beef with this person, and there's a lot of ego at play, especially when you have titles like Shaykh or like Mufti, the sense of importance. What do you think that Islamic scholars, sheikhs, or students of knowledge can work on the most, so that we're all, that you're all united on the Tawheed?
Yeah. Well, I think, most da'is, that are very well known, they face the same challenges. Like showing humility, right? You were an unknown person once upon a time, you were ignorant. And now maybe you're walking through the people as if you've become someone. In reality, Allah can take all of that away at any time. Mm-hmm. Humility, sincerity, right? I think they are, some of the battles that I think we all need to overcome. We're nobodies, right? Allah is using us. In fact, He's allowed us to be fortunate enough to be able to do His work, His service to the people. Yeah.
Why did you, or the better question is, What made you doubt your faith the most? I'm sure you've had doubts. I'm sure you've had questions. What was an event or something that made you question if Islam was really the truth and if God was even real?
Allah, honestly, I don't think I've ever had that issue, to be honest.
Never?
Never.
You've never had a shadow of doubt in your mind?
Never. Because I know everything that happens, it happens for a reason.
I agree.
Everything that happens, it happens for a reason. Right? Our intellects are so limited. A very common question that we hear atheists saying or asking about is, why is all of this evil allowed to be taking place? Right?
The lights turned off. Okay, thank you. We can keep talking.
Yeah. Why is all of this allowed to be taking place, you know? If there was really a God, like, your intellects are very, very limited. Like, everything that happens, you can put a spin of positivity on that. Right? I'll give you an example. My friend got shot. Allah knows best, but if he didn't get shot, even though from the apparent it comes across really evil, why would someone so young, be allowed to lose his life when he had his whole life ahead of him? This is what people say all the time, right? Mm-hmm. It was the reason why so many people left the streets. They bettered their lives. Some went to the Middle East in order to go and learn about their religion. It brought about a lot of good, right? And at the end of the day, it's Allah who creates, right? It is He who creates and gives life and then takes away life. If you accept that Allah is the Almighty and He's the entity that is above everyone else, then He has every right to do as He wishes, right? Sometimes Allah may take away a child from you, right? And perhaps because Allah wants to protect you from that which is far more severe. How many a time have I come across a parent where they began to wish that their children weren't alive because of how much trouble they gave them, right? Subhanallah. So everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. That child could have been the reason why you go through so much trouble in your life, right?
This should work. How has becoming a parent changed you as a Muslim?
You want to fix that? I don't know.
That's fine. I can turn it on, but are you public about being a parent?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's absolutely fine.
How has that changed your perspective? Because I think a lot of people that are watching, especially me, I want to have kids soon. I want to get married. I want to do the...
Honestly, it comes with an experience that I think it's very hard to put into words. You know? It's really hard to put into words, man. I'm a father of 2 daughters.
MashaAllah.
And...
It's dead?
No, I think he accidentally switched it off.
Is it too dark? How does it look? It looks okay?
Yeah, he put the light on. I think you should put the light on, yeah.
You turned it off or it died? I don't know. It might be dead.
No, it's alright.
Let's see if it stays on. Yeah, no, it's dead. Is it too dark? Let me see. It's alright. Yeah, I think it's fine. Do you want some more water or something?
Shaykh, I'm just in a live stream. I did speak to him. I'll tell you after, inshallah.
I haven't opened the chat once. Usually when I stream, I'm looking at the chat the entire time. I've been completely hooked. I'll take questions from the chat afterwards.
That's absolutely fine.
Oh, they're saying W. They like it. Hey guys, what do you think of the bald head? Do I look like a monk? People are saying I look like Avatar, the last Airbender. That I should need a blue arrow pointing right down. I'm gonna keep it going. I want to keep the shaved head look. I feel like a new man. Since coming from Umrah, I would say I simultaneously feel like a new man and a newborn baby at the same time. I feel like how I was as a kid, pure-hearted, not corrupted by anything, but also how I'm ready to take on new challenges. I've matured and also reverted to like my childlike state. But
I hope all you guys who are stingy with shaving your head can take a lesson from that. The SNEAKO can do it, every single one of you guys can do it. Sometimes a bit stingy. I've got long hair. It's like he's obsessed with his hair,
Your hair's pretty long.
I can't lose it. No, not my one. I'm talking about others who come from Umrah.
Okay.
Hair is... Because they are so in love with their hair, they don't want to take it off. Like SNEAKO done it, you guys can do it as well.
I recommend it, for especially for dudes, instead of looking... I noticed that too on this trip, is that the problem that a lot of men face is that we used to live externally, like within first-person shooter mode, like how you play Call of Duty. You're just looking out into the world, and it's our job to create and provide. But the phone and social media has made us look more internally than ever. And things like hair and being attached to your looks and your appearance is not what we're supposed to be doing. I think, but what's the significance behind...
In Islam, there's a lot of significance on the internal aspect of a human being. Like the Messenger, may peace and blessing be upon him, he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَى أَجْسَادِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ right? وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى أَعْمَالِكُمْ وَإِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ. Allah does not really, care too much about your outer appearance. He doesn't look at that. Or what color or what race you are, no. He cares more about your heart and also your actions. Now think about it, right? This materialistic world. How many hours do we spend in front of the mirror?
More than ever.
Or trying to maybe beautify our outer appearance. Our sisters, how many hours would you spend, doing your face up, doing yourself up? Likewise, brothers are spending X amount of hours a day in the gym, trying to perfect the outer appearance. I would normally say to our brothers, we spend all this time in the gym, right, picking up 120 kilos to the point where you're able to bend it, huh? That's how strong you are. But then we struggle to pick up our blankets for Fajr, or maybe, that's another one. To pick up the Quran, maybe it's a bit too heavy.
Right.
Blanket, is only how many grams? Right? What, 50 grams? I've never weighed a blanket, but we struggle to pick that up at Fajr time, Mm-hmm. So we have to give more time to, even if we just gave a fraction of that time that we spend fixing our outer appearance, to our spirituality, learning about our religion, we'd be in a much better place. Yeah.
I was asking you about fatherhood. What advice would you have? I have a lot of young men watching, and me, curiously. How do you prepare as a Muslim, or just even if you're not, how do you prepare for fatherhood?
Well, the best thing that you can do for yourself and for your children is to fix yourself, because you are their example. You are the person that they look at most of the time. You and also the wife, right? Their mother. So picking a righteous mother goes a very long way, the direction that the children end up taking when growing up. If it's a mother that's sitting in front of Netflix all day long, the children are going to become hypnotized.
Netflix kids.
Yeah, Netflix kids. If a woman's going around, dressed a certain way, you might be okay with that. But is that how you want your kids to be growing up?
No.
Dressing in a very inappropriate way, if that makes sense? Allah understand. Yeah.
How do you go about picking the right woman? I hear a lot of people say that that's the most important decision that a man ever makes, is picking the right mother of his children.
Yeah, of course. You have to look at her etiquette. You have to look at how she dignifies herself. You have to look at her religion. Right? And this is the advice that our Prophet gave. He says a woman is married due to 4 reasons. Number 1, her beauty. Number 2, her lineage. Number 3, the wealth that she possesses. And number 4 is her religion. And then the Messenger, may peace and blessings be upon him, he emphasized that 4th one. Does that mean you do not take into consideration all of the other ones? No, that's wrong. And I think sometimes our brothers and sisters, they misconstrue that. Right? No one is saying to you that you should only marry a woman that has religion, but then you're not attracted to her. No, you have to be attracted to her, especially in this sexualized society that we live in. Right? So there has to be a level of attraction. There has to be that spark when you see her. Because one of the whole objectives of getting married is to protect yourself from haram, It's meant to be there to lower your gaze. And so when you see a lady, you're thinking, I've got a nice lady at home. Right? I don't need to look at her. So that's very, very important. But most importantly, it is the religion. Because the religion is that what mainly lasts. One's beauty fades away. As you may appreciate, right? It fades away. Even guys, they're very handsome.
Yeah.
You want to sit in? Yeah, that's fine. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
What's your name? Hamza. Hamza. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Hamza.
Assalamu alaikum.
When are you going to become Prophet?
Bradistan.
Yeah,
Huh?
Bradistan.
You want me to come Bradford or Bradistan? Allah, inshallah ta'ala.
Every time you come, you're always in Leicester or somewhere, Birmingham.
I did come to Bradford last summer.
Did you? Last summer?
Yeah. I took part in a conference that they had. Yeah.
Inshallah, hope to see you soon.
Inshallah ta'ala.
Nice
Yeah?
to meet you. Would you marry a Christian or a Jew?
Nope. I wouldn't.
So you're allowed to, right?
Islamically, there are conditions and everything. But living in the West, marrying a Christian lady or a Jewish lady, I want my kids to grow up with Islam. You may find yourself in a constant battle of what your children are going to pick up. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Would you even raise your kid? Well,
Yeah, I don't want to bring my kids up in the West. If that's what you're going to ask.
I agree completely. Where should we go for the people watching?
Recently, I got invited to go to Kenya.
to live.
Yeah, no, I got invited to do a program. I did a tour there, and I've been exploring different countries to move my family to, and honestly, Kenya just went top of the list, man. So it's something I'm really looking into.
Do you
It's really
speak the
nice. They
language
all
at all?
speak English. They all speak English.
They speak
Bro,
English?
They speak English better than me and you, my friend.
Come on.
Yeah, man.
Don't they speak the?
It's one of those countries that have been colonized by the British. The English is very, very good. In fact, I honestly believe it's better than mine. Because they study the English language. We grew up speaking English, right? Because of the environment. Normally when you study, likewise in Nigeria, their English is better than ours.
Come on.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I've had Nigerian classmates. Honestly, I was taken aback by their level in English. Yeah.
You would go all the way there?
Huh?
You would really move to Africa?
Yeah, Kenya. Kenya is very different. I think you should go visit.
I've never been. I've been to Morocco,
Yeah.
but it's one place I want to see. Can you what are you? I want to say afraid of, but what do you want to shield your children from the most when it comes to
This
raising
whole
them?
society. It's a sexualized society. And it's not just that aspect of things, right? The doubts that is being ingrained and instilled within, young people today. Like our child goes to school and comes out confused about their gender. This was unheard of when we were growing up. Unheard of, my friend.
Right.
And now, Dad, I don't know which gender I am. I don't know what I am. Confused. Now, isn't that the reality? That's the reality, my friend. Why would I want my child to be growing up in this kind of environment? You tell me. Right?
There is no
and then the
reason.
doubts that they're getting about their faith. Like, you know what I call the universities in the West?
What?
A breeding ground for kufr, disbelief,
Kufr.
shirk, polytheism, liberalism, secularism,
They're indoctrination
feminism.
camps.
And of course, the Rainbow Team are extremely active.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not inciting violence, right?
Why do you keep saying that?
Yeah, man. Just to kind of like,
Ah,
these guys are always going to try and misconstrue our statements, right?
that's why you got banned from the States.
No, I never said I got banned.
I'm joking.
I never said I got banned.
But yeah, I would
Not
never
bad.
send my daughter
Not
to an indoctrination. They go in there. They could be a good.
Yeah, it's a
God-fearing
breeding
girl.
ground, akhi. It's a breeding ground.
Yeah.
It's a breeding ground, my friend. Yeah.
But sometimes you can't escape it. Like, isn't it kind of feeding into the rest of the world? I was speaking to some Saudis in Riyadh, and they were saying that the girls here, they're forgetting their grandma's recipes. There's a divorce rate something like 37%, and they don't know how to cook as well anymore, and they're starting to get that feminist ideology. They're not the same women that their grandmothers were.
Unfortunately, these ideologies are creeping into a lot of households, right? Everywhere you go, you see these ideologies that are creeping in because of the internet, which is a fingertip away.
Right.
Does that make sense? It's a fingertip away, and information is so easily accessible. Does that make sense? It's so easily accessible. And it's so easy to become overwhelmed by the filth and the garbage that is out there. So we have to, of course, go back to the drawing board, start educating not only ourselves, but the families, our relatives around us. Without education, right, you're like a sponge that is ready to, right, take everything in.
Would you let your kids use smartphones?
Wallahi, I tried to keep my daughters, my daughter, the eldest one, she's only 2 years of age.
Oh, okay.
It's very limited amount of time that she goes onto the iPad.
Well, she's 2?
Yeah.
And she has an iPad?
No, she doesn't have iPad. It's my iPad.
Okay.
But she sometimes watches these videos of little girls praying,
Oh, mashallah.
right? But the screen time I'm talking about, the screen time, having a lot of that is not good for her. So she basically starts learning how to pray and everything. She's already been praying with us around her and everything.
She's 2 and she's praying.
Bro, wallahi, we don't force anything upon her. Because her mother's dressed a certain way, I'm dressed a certain way. She starts dressing,
like how
you know?
Yeah. Well, it's not bad to force your kids to do something.
No, but at that age, you know, we shouldn't be doing that. But it's more like the actions speak louder than the words, you know? Sometimes you just need to behave a certain way in order for the people around you to become impacted.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
At 2, you even noticed the kid?
Oh, she prays and everything. May Allah bless her and everyone say, MashaAllah.
She does this too? She said
everything.
At 2? Yeah. MashaAllah.
And
how old is the youngest one?
The other one is, I think she's coming up to 1 year now.
Okay.
This one's coming up to 3. So they'll just basically copycat. You know, children at as young as 1 year of age, they are copycats, my friend. They will just copy whatever you're doing. See what I'm saying?
Lead by example.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. That's exactly it.
Are these all your students that are coming around here? You seem like you recognize a lot of people coming around.
No, the brothers here for Umrah. Yeah, I know a lot of them. How long have you been doing it for now? How long has it been?
Yeah, you have to get some rest before Fajr, right?
No, I'm alright, man. I can go on all night.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they have any questions? The people
yeah, we do. I still have a lot more. I can keep going. I'm just taking some time. They're saying move to Israel. That's funny. You don't want to talk about what's going on in Israel, Palestine.
No, alhamdulillah, we've already discussed it in a lot of detail, and everyone is kind of like already aware. You know, may Allah Azza wa Jal aid and assist our brothers and sisters in Palestine. I think the world can see so clearly and explicitly, right, who the violator in all of this is, who the aggressor is. It's there for the world to see, right? And yeah, man, keep helping our brothers by making a lot of dua for them. Right? Keep paying charity. Do whatever you can. Boycotting all these products that's helping. Right? I'm talking about the Western countries boycotting their products that they may be using now to help the IDF with.
Right. Who do we boycott? It's McDonald's, Starbucks.
Well, there's a whole list that they put out, akhi. A whole list. Starbucks and these kind of places.
Is that the best?
Wallahi, I'm so happy that so many people have come to know the reality of what was going on. Every time they try to fabricate a lie, it gets exposed
immediately. Yeah. That's the fastest I've ever seen it. Because it's been going on for 20 years, and they usually were able to lie about it.
There's that guy on Twitter. I forgot his name. Every day he's posting. Subhanallah, I forgot his name. I think it's something Jacksonville or whatever have you. You know, the truth will come out. Right, and Allah will extinguish this falsehood that people come with. Right? Yeah, brothers, man, and sisters, honestly, it's a sad reality that they are experiencing at this moment in time.
Right.
And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give our brothers and sisters victory. Ameen. And to aid and assist them.
I'm surprised that sometimes I'm hesitant to ask people about that because I'm used to the influencer world. And you'd be surprised, so many of them know the truth. They know that Palestine, they're
an apartheid state, akhi. They're an apartheid state, akhi. It's very clear for everyone to see. Without shadow of a doubt, it's a genocide.
All of them are afraid to talk about it. All of it. Like, it's common knowledge for most people, and I go on a podcast and I talk about it. And they're like,
fear-mongering tactics have been used to shut people out.
Is it fear-mongering, or they just don't want to lose brand deals and sponsors?
No, but that's exactly what it is. The moment you say something, you're going to get cancelled. Cancelled by who? By a lot of these individuals that have influence, or these organizations and companies and whatever have you, right? This is what's going to happen. Allah musta'an. This is the strategy that is used now to shut people down. Alhamdulillah, right? No one's even inciting violence. I'll make this crystal clear. We're not inciting violence. But the truth is told when the truth needs to be told, bro. And we can see who the oppressed is and who the aggressor, the aggravator is. It's very clear for everyone to see.
Have you been cancelled? What have you noticed?
They tried to get me cancelled.
For what? Homophobia?
They tried to, whatever they try to call me, like, you know? How are you going to call me anti-Semitic when my father-in-law is Jewish? Every time it comes to...
Your father's Jewish?
Yeah, my wife has never been Jewish, but he's always been Jewish. But he's like not that much of a practicing Jew, if that makes sense. But he comes over, I take good care of him, I put a hole in my pocket, akhi. I take him to the top restaurants, and anyone else from the Jewish community wants to come see me, when I go back to the UK,
You see them.
you're more than welcome, man.
My
I'll take you
grandfather
out.
was a Jew, maybe.
Yeah.
I think.
So,
Died in the Holocaust.
how can I be
Oh, no,
anti-Semitic? I'm not anti-Semitic.
You are Semitic.
Yeah. Even if you look up the definition of what Semitism actually means,
It's Arabs.
I think, again, it's just, this monopolization of words and phrases and definitions that, again, we've fallen victim to.
Right.
Fear-mongering tactics have been used for us to think a certain way or to look at things in a certain manner. Things ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I've never incited violence towards anyone when I was in the UK. However, I'm not going to shy away, right, or be apologetic about what we believe in the Quran and in the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is something that has been really appreciated by a lot of people. Right. As you mentioned, akhi, people are scared for their jobs, people are scared for their organizations and being cut off and whatever.
So it's these rich people too. They don't even have that much to lose. They can still be able to
Honestly,
monetize it. They can't say it.
I was disgusted at Floyd Mayweather.
Mayweather,
Absolutely
you think he cares about Jews across the world in Israel? Like, why is he putting a black power fist for Jews? This dude, he has money in his name, but you don't get any money for saying free
I
Palestine.
think it's pure and utter ignorance, akhi.
I don't think it's ignorance. I think he's getting paid to say that. He's not ignorant. This guy's smart. He's navigated the world. He's dealt with some of the richest people. There's no way that he's brainwashed to think that Israel is being oppressed right now. There's someone is paying him.
I mean, Palestine being oppressed.
No, this guy's come.
You watching?
Yeah, he's showing the stream right now. Look at the chat. They're all spamming Islam emojis. Walaikum salam. What's your name, bro?
Simon.
You've been watching the live stream?
Yeah. He's got the stream open right now.
Where are you from, America?
Yeah, I'm doing my Umrah here. We did Medina. We went to Riyadh Jannah.
Make sure you cut your hair, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut my hair.
Go bald like me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bald.
How does it look?
Same way SNEAKO went bald, you can go bald as well.
Mashallah. Mashallah.
Mashallah. It's nice to meet you.
Do you have any questions?
I was just listening to the what's it called, anti-Semitic or whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just listening with my friends over there.
Do you have any questions for him?
Do I have any questions?
Yeah.
Did you get canceled?
No, I'm not going to get cancelled, inshallah, because Allah is protecting me. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
As much as they may have tried. Assalamu alaikum.
Wait, can you film this? Be careful with the cord.
The whole gang's here, huh?
Yeah.
You guys all from?
We're from Atlanta.
Atlanta. MashaAllah.
How you doing? Assalamu alaikum.
You guys alright?
How are you? How you doing?
Oh, okay.
Where are you guys coming from?
Well, Georgia, Atlanta, bro.
Oh yeah.
We're coming from here.
Mashallah.
I was meant to visit you guys, man.
You were gonna visit us?
Yeah, I was meant to.
Oh my God.
Qadarullah. You right?
Yeah.
The second that we told him that you were here this whole time, we've just been we've been trolling him around the city. We'd be like, oh my God, SNEAKO, no move.
How'd you know we're, don't tell them how to find, it's fine.
You guys staying at this hotel?
Yeah.
Okay, mashallah.
That's how we saw you guys the first time.
Saw you. Me and just gonna come here and sit and we saw you recording.
Earlier when we took a picture with you guys, we walked in here and we were dead tired. And then he I was facing this way, he was facing that way. And he goes, Abu Taymiyyah. I thought he was joking. So I turned around.
I thought he was joking.
And we walked a little bit closer.
The live he met y'all, we just ran downstairs, man. We couldn't. Yeah, we were just going to sit down and then SNEAKO.
Did your Umrah already?
No,
Congratulations.
Congratulations. How was it? How was the experience?
It was great. It was. We've been speaking about it. I feel like a new man. I feel completely refreshed. Have you all done it before?
No, this is our first
one.
It's like a 60 people group.
It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know how much running it was. It's a workout. You can't be a fat Muslim. You're gonna pass out. That's Islam really does promote fitness because you need to be in shape to finish Umrah. 100%. Let's take a picture and then I'll get back to the podcast. All right.
I'm gonna take an individual first.
All right, quick though.
Let's take a whole group pic.
Okay. Abu Taymiyyah. Yeah.
Abu Taymiyyah.
Careful of the backpack, please.
You know let them get in the middle. Let them get in the middle.
People get in the bottom.
Let the short people in the front, bro.
Yeah, let the short people in the front.
Everybody. Bro, I'm not even doing the same.
There we go. Careful the backpack, please. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Salam alaikum. Great to meet you guys.
We're so sorry. We're so sorry.
No, don't worry about it. Don't be sorry. May Allah accept all your dua.
Great to meet you.
Abu, do you mind if I just ask you one quick question?
That's absolutely fine, yeah, go on.
I'm on the campus right now, alhamdulillah. I'm starting my first year at uni. And I've had a lot of, alhamdulillah, our MSA is very active, inshallah, with the Palestinian protests and trying to spread awareness for it, inshallah. But we've had a lot of pushback from the Zionists and stuff. They've tried to stop our meetings. We tried to hold a peaceful protest on our campus, and they tried to shut it down. And then they're turning around and they're saying that they're turning around and saying that we're being anti-Semitic towards them.
No, just say you guys are being Islamophobic.
Yeah, that's what we tried to say to them, but the university's not listening to us. So we're trying to come up with a solution where we're able to speak what we're supposed to be speaking, but we're having these pushback by these Zionists, and we don't want to cause problems and prove their point. We want to show that Islam is not something that you push forward and try to be oppressive against. No, we're trying to show that this is what you guys are doing. We're not here to retaliate and show that just because you're putting violence against us, we're going to put violence against you. No, we're going to show you that Islam is unity, and we're going to show that we want to have this power, that we're standing with the Palestinian people despite what you guys are putting against us. But the university is making it very hard, astaghfirullah. So
nothing in life comes easy, especially if you're a Muslim.
Right.
We've all faced challenges. I've faced a lot of challenges in my life. Him being a Muslim now, he's being berated by the Islamophobes. Right? So with perseverance, with patience, inshallah,
inshallah.
Barakallahu feek.
Just keep working,
yeah? Keep making a lot of dua, keep trying to do the right thing.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah,
inshallah.
definitely, inshallah. I appreciate it.
Take care,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Right?
Great to meet you. We can get some questions. Walaikum salam. Great to meet you.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Okay. You want to take a picture? Yeah, that's fine.
Questions, chat. Now's the time. Yeah. Okay, great to meet you, man. Salam alaikum. All right. They said that you have a beautiful voice, and they were asking if you could do more Quran recitation.
Quran recitations?
It starts off by saying, I want to ask two questions. I learned a couple phrases while I was here. When you say Muhammad's name, you say, Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
MashaAllah.
I said it right?
Yeah, very right, MashaAllah.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
You can memorize the Quran, man. You've got the...
I do, I have it.
Yeah, man, you have it, man.
And then the first prayer is Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, I'll learn more.
You'll learn it, inshallah ta'ala.
I had it better before, but can you give me another?
Practice makes perfect.
It's such a beautiful. It's like the whole Quran is like the whole book is like a song front to back.
Yeah. Allah, if I can just advise the people who are listening to maybe invest in this 10-volume tafsir, right? Explanation of the Quran. Explanation of the Quran, which has been translated into English, is 10 volumes. I think it's only like £150. £150. Where you end up learning the meanings of the Quran. Does that make sense? We end up learning the meanings of the Quran. No. And you'll become so much more connected to the Quran, and you'll honestly just really live it every day as you're reading it, So it's called Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Right? You type it into Google, it comes up, being sold on Amazon, it should be sent over, Inshallah ta'ala.
We have a question from Mohammed. He said, ask Shaykh about tasawwuf and maqamat dhikr.
Okay.
I have no idea what this means.
So tasawwuf within itself is not something that is bad.
This
means spirituality and so on and so forth. However,
like astrology?
No, spirituality, doing a lot of remembrance, spirituality, the cleansing of the heart and so on and so forth.
Like Umrah?
There's a lot of things that you can do, that you can study, that you could read on. For example, reading up the lives of the righteous of the past is something that really does soften up your heart, right? And how the heart works and so on and so forth. I've done a lot of lectures on it, ways to soften up your heart. This is called tasawwuf, right? Another way of maybe looking at it is, or should I say, another word for tasawwuf would be tazkiyatun nafs. However, over time, it's become associated with things that are not in line with normative Islam, and because of it, it has such a negative. Is the battery about to die?
Yeah, I think so. Let me change the battery, and that I don't want to. Yeah, real quick. Chat. Well, we're gonna F for 1 second. Battery changing.
Yeah.
Bryce knows how to move. Look at him. Oh.
Yeah, that's why all your engagement's up. That's why you have over 500 likes for once. Don't do no engagement. Do you mind? Maybe I could prop this up here. Is that any better? Is that better? Okay. Do you mind if I go to the bathroom really quickly?
Go.
Check, give me 1 second. Let me go pee. I'll be right back.
How do you think this is going? Yeah? Alhamdulillah.
From where to where?
Alhamdulillah. Hadikum Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah.
What about dating in general? Should young Muslim? What about dating in general? Should young Muslim?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother SNEAKO. I hope you're doing well. I have a request. Can you ask Shaykh Osman how many wives he had this last October?
Is it live?
Then ask him. Yeah, I'm back.
Let me get a flashlight. What was I just asking you?
About the issue of tasawwuf.
Yes. About softening your heart.
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. The Quran teaches.
So, in within itself, the concept of tasawwuf is tazkiyatun nafs. It is to soften up your heart and so on and so forth, cleansing it, that spirituality aspect and so on and so forth. Right? However, over time, tasawwuf has become so associated with other aspects that are not in line with the deen, not in line with our religion, right? So the distinction does need to be made with regards to the aspect of the tasawwuf that is actually in line with the religion and that which isn't. And of course, doing dhikr, this is something that is mentioned in the Quran, constantly remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is again one of the things that really softens up your heart, right? Honest best.
So you must have seen talk about the red pill online.
Yeah.
I think you talked about the spiritual awakening happening about 1.5 years ago. That's when I started live streaming. I was kind of lost, and then started getting angry when I realized that they're brainwashing us with liberalism, feminism, that they're indoctrinating us and making us depressed and fat, and they're trying to keep us broke and poor. Realizing that really made me upset. And then a lot of guys like that, you gravitate towards the red pill. Found the red pill and I kind of became obsessed with it. And then I realized it's kind of a black hole of nothingness. There's right now the leaders of the red pill say that you should get a vasectomy, you shouldn't have kids, you should just avoid, all women are bad, they're evil, kind of just like sleep with a bunch of hoes. And then I realized, like, hey, red pill is a black hole. It's just filling a void for men that are unhappy. So then you find God, and then you come to Islam.
So I think with everything, there is that which is in line with our religion, and there are aspects of it that are not in line with it. When you look at a lot of these different ideologies that are out there, even with feminism, would I say that every single thing that feminists stand for is actually wrong? Of course not. But there's a lot that is wrong with it. And then likewise, red pill, what I don't seem to really understand with the red pill is, how is it okay for a man to go sleep around, right? It's perfectly fine for him to go and do so. That makes him more manly. But when it comes to a woman, she's looked at in a very, very despicable way, if that makes sense. Right? I think that's very contradictory. Where do you draw the line again with regards to what is right and what is wrong, morally speaking? Right? And this is why when you look at every single ideology that's out there, you're going to see that it's contradictory. It doesn't really add up. There's going to be discrepancies and so on and so forth. And red pill is no different to that. Now you tell me, where do you draw the line with regards to what is right and what is wrong? Why is it okay for men to go and sleep around with other women? But when it comes to women, it's something that is completely shunned upon.
As a man, I work really hard to maintain my physical prowess and my financial ability. I worked to get to the ability to sleep with as many women as I possibly can.
But who said that's actually correct? Or morally speaking, that's absolutely fine?
And it's not morally, it's realistically speaking. See, women don't have to do any work in order to sleep around, but as a man, I have to.
So what makes it okay that just because you are working, you can go and ruin so many other lives of these women that you're sleeping around with?
The women are already ruined. I'm just operating I'm operating at a destroyed Western society.
Women are being objectified, sexualized. They are seen as nothing more than sex machines, right? Is this what society has actually come to when you think about it?
Whether or not I act within that society it's already there. It's already a broken society. These women are indoctrinated by feminism. I'm just trying to find my happy life within a broken
you really
society.
think by sleeping around with women you're going to be able to find a happy life? Right? How many men have also become so mentally and psychologically broken because he just doesn't know what he loves anymore, or what he wants anymore, what he needs anymore. Moving on from one woman to another and another and another.
But love isn't real. Love isn't real. Women are a utility to make your life better.
Love is not real?
No. Love is something that women do. Women fall in love. Men need to be practical with their relationships. We need to go find women.
Men don't fall in love?
No, falling in love for a man is gay.
Are you playing devil's advocate here?
I've memorized the red pill script. I know it in and out.
Bro, that's an absolute myth.
Men can fall in love?
Of course they can fall in love. You've never fallen in love, SNEAKO?
I have, many times.
Exactly. So this is a myth. And this is something that is absolutely nonsensical. Right? It really has no existence whatsoever. Allah tells us with regards to men and women. Right? It's something that is bound to happen. People before us who are far greater than us, they had love. They fell in love. Right? They got married. And they lived in their marriages happily ever after. So this whole concept of love not existing, I think that's absolute garbage.
But in the West now, over 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Sorry?
Over 50% of marriages in the West end in divorce.
Between who?
The marriage between a man and a woman now, most of them end in divorce.
Okay, is it Muslims or is it non-Muslims?
Non-Muslims.
Okay. With regards to Muslims, why has it been that for the longest time, the way that people structured their lives was via getting married and also having children and so on and so forth, only for them to come along and say, no, everything that's maybe happened over the last X amount of hundreds of years was all wrong? That's not how you structure your life? Right? Honestly, I think it's very, very, very contradictory. Like, think about it, bro. Where do you draw the line of what is accepted and what is not? It's wrong for women to go and do that, but it's okay for men to go and do something completely different. Right? Tomorrow I'm going to come up with a concept that you might not necessarily agree with, and I'm going to say this is how we need to live our lives. Where do you draw the line, SNEAKO?
But as a man, in order to understand female nature, I need to sleep with 50.
But where'd you get that from?
A Red Pill podcast told me.
Okay. Who told me, why does that have to basically be the constitution that I follow?
I read it in the Red Pill book.
Okay, in the Red Pill book, what,
I read it in the Quran for Red Pill.
Yeah, sorry?
In the Red Pill Quran, they said...
What do you mean the Red Pill Quran?
In the guidebook, the rational vasectomy.
You mean their Quran, like what they have, which is not, of course, the Quran that we have.
Safrallah, yeah.
I don't think you mean it like that anyway.
I don't. Okay, the Red Pill Bible.
Not even that. I don't think it's right to actually say that. They're basically the manual that they refer back to. That's basically what it is.
Right.
Or their constitution that they've come up with.
Right.
I think that's a better way to put it.
Right, okay.
Habibi, I want you to tell me, why is it okay for so and so to come up with certain concepts that we all have to conform to, but it's wrong for someone else to come with? Let's just say, for example, feminism. Why is it okay for you to do it, but then it's not okay for someone else? Where do you draw the line? Why can't I have a relationship with an animal? Tell me why. Love is love, isn't it? Again, we go back to the argument that we spoke about earlier. Why is it okay for a man to have a relationship with another man, but it's wrong for him to have a relationship with his sister or with his blood brother? Love is love. This is the argument now. Otherwise, bro, you're going to find constant differing, bickering, right? People going out against one another, right? If we don't have an external entity, Allah told us this over 1400 years ago when He sent down this book, right? If anything had come from other than Allah, you are going to find, right, contradictions. كان من عند غير الله لوجدوا في اختلافا كثيرا. Is mentioned in the Quran. What makes red pill more right than feminism?
It's because red pill...
It's a man that decided, you know what? In order for me to achieve what I want, this is what you need to follow. Then you also have the likes of Simone de Beauvoir, Betty Friedan, who had a certain mindset and a certain way of thinking, which they wanted now to impose upon society. What is right? Tomorrow you're going to find something that is different to red pill.
Right.
Why shouldn't we follow that then?
Well, red pill's just the truth. You know, all these women are indoctrinated by feminism, so this is how we operate as men within a destroyed society, where women are... Because what you're saying is, it sounds good, but these women aren't Muslims anymore. In a traditional Muslim society, you get married to a virgin. None of these girls are virgins. So how am I going to expect to have a halal marriage when the woman is already broken? This is how
why is the man not broken then?
Because men
souls do get broken as well.
Not as easily as women. We can.
No, but they get broken as well. That defeats the concept of someone becoming broken, right? If you say to me, women get broken, but men, some of them get broken, or they only get or it's harder to break them, but they still get broken, and you're still dealing with the same problem at the end, right? Someone's going to ask my sister for a hand in marriage. This guy could be broken, right? I have a brother. He's going to ask her for a hand in marriage. She might well be broken. We're still dealing with the same problem, aren't we?
Red pill is the truth that in the West, we're all broken. We're watching porn at 8 years old. Okay. We're going to college and we question our genders. Just being born in America, being born in London is already, you're set for failure.
This is why all of us, we are in need of an external entity that is going to give us rules and regulations of how to live our lives. Otherwise, we're constantly going to keep going back and forth with regards to the kind of lifestyle we want to live.
Right.
We need an external entity, and that is God. Otherwise, the feminists are going to take shots at the red pill guys, and then the red pill are going to keep having their back and forths.
Right.
And a lot of the time, bro, it's a mindset that has perhaps maybe come out of thin air, which someone has decided to add to a manual book. It's as simple as that. Tomorrow, I'm telling you, bro, someone else is going to come out with something different. And they're going to say, oh, this is the truth. What distinguishes this from that? Right? We're just going to go on all day, my friend. They have arguments, you have arguments. And again, we have to accept that, you know, there is an external entity that is actually the truth. What makes us accept that Al-Islam is the truth? Right? Up until this very day, even though the challenge was sent out by God in His Quran, in His book, in 3 different places to produce a Quran like this, they have not been able to produce anything like it. The challenge still stands. It was initially for the Arabs to produce something, but the challenge still stands to this very day. If you want me to prove to you that the Quran is actually the truth, bro, there are 3 verses in the Quran. The first challenge was, produce a Quran like this. لَإِنِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَىٰ أَن يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَٰذَا لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ. They will not be able to do so, God told us. Right? And then there was a second challenge. just bring forth 10 chapters. قُلْ فَأْتُوا بِعَشْرِ سُوَرٍ مِثْلِهِ مُفْتَرَيَاتٍ. Fabricate 10 for me. 10 chapters, the smallest chapters in the Quran. They weren't able to bring anything like it. Then they were told, just bring one verse. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِمَّا نَزَّلْنَا فَأْتُوا سُورَةً. Just bring one. They weren't able to produce anything like this. Right? And then you look also at the ahadith. The hadith, these are the prophetic traditions, the statements that the Messenger ﷺ uttered, right? Bro, every single report needs to be critically examined before we take it. We don't just take things just like that, right? Or we don't have books that people claim to be holy, right? When in reality they can't prove its authenticity. Does that make sense?
Right.
And a lot of the things that the Messenger of God prophesies that will take place, that we see happening and unfolding right before our eyes. Again, that proves to us that the Prophet Muhammad was actually a prophet of truth. Right? You may ask me what makes Christianity different to Islam, or what makes what they believe in, just to prove that this is authentically reported is a big thing. We can do that with every single report of Prophet Muhammad. May peace and blessings be upon him.
Sallallahu wa sallam.
Right? Sallallahu
alayhi wa sallam.
Right? And then likewise you have the Quran that has been authentically proven that this is actually the word of God. We have chains of narration. Every single person in that chain of narration needs to be critically examined before we take anything from him.
Wait a second. Yeah. But the Red Pill book, I saw a podcast online.
I saw a podcast online. That's exactly the answer that you're looking for.
He told me that was going to be alpha.
Yeah. What was the other one? There's alpha, there's another one. Huh? Beta. Is that
Sigma.
Sigma. Let's recreate something now as well. Let's make our own one. Let's make a combination, shall we? I'm telling you, my friend, there will always be contradictions. Always. It's okay for a woman, right, to sleep around, it's okay for a man to go and sleep around with everyone and anyone that he wants, but when it comes to a woman, it's shunned upon. Bro, I just it really doesn't make sense, man.
We got some more questions.
Yeah.
BotTube agent says, ask the Shaykh about Sufism. I like how it's more spiritual and fun. I think he's trolling.
I think these guys are trolling.
Yeah, he is. But it's a good question. Well, can you explain what is Sufism?
Habibi, our religion is following the Quran
and the
Sunnah and what the messenger of the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, came with. Right? While we have the understanding of the companions. The companions, they were our role models when it came to spirituality. If you want to see how they remained spiritual, then I advise you to go back to how they understood the texts that were sent down by our Lord, Allah Azza wa Jal, and also what the messenger, may peace and blessings be upon him, came with. Right? This is how we should be following religions. As for all of these labels that people have, that should be put to the side. We need to be individuals who ensure that our actions are in line with what Allah came with and what the Messenger ﷺ had uttered and what the companions have come with. Right? In order for them to pop up, they have to pay. Huh?
No, they don't have to. It's just easier to see.
Or you just basically...
Right. Yeah, shouldn't be...
guys trolling.
Yeah, they are. More questions, guys. Okay, we have one. I don't know if you want to answer this one. It's a sunnah. Would you do polygamy?
Would I do polygamy?
Right. You don't have to.
These guys are trolling, man. These guys are trolling.
Okay.
You guys just need to get married first, man. They need to get married.
Think about one wife before.
Think about one wife before you start even thinking about that which is too hot for you to handle.
Right. Have you arranged any marriages for anybody? Have you?
Well, I helped, hitch people up. Sometimes there's a brother that's looking to get married, and I know that there's a sister that might be looking for marriage.
Right. I'm looking. Yeah? Just so you know, if you know any.
Yeah, inshallah. Definitely look into it for you, Yeah. And that's basically it, man. So I help them out like that. Yeah, it can be definitely a dangerous game, trying to hitch people up and
And they're asking about zina, which I think is a good transition. What's the punishments and how bad is zina really? Once in a while, I just want to relax and have a little bit of fun. Can I commit a little bit of zina?
Let me read out some real life scenarios that I've received, right?
Okay.
You know when Allah tells you guys not to do something, or He tells you guys to do something, at times you may think, oh man, this is a little bit, right, out of touch with reality or extreme.
Yeah, just a little bit of zina once in a while.
Just remember this. Everything that Allah told you to do and told you to stay away from, right, is in your own best interest. Otherwise, it is feared, my friend, that you will join this long queue of people who have been messaging me, right?
About zina?
About sins and zina and so on and so forth. Right? Let me read this out to you guys. This is an email that I have, right? Check to see whether this is a real email. Right?
It's from
screenshot that I took.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Please, can you help me? I've done zina for almost a year now with many, many girls. Many, many. I'm completely
Sounds
broken.
a bit like the red pill guys, right?
50. It's just 50. So
You mentioned, right, that they don't get broken, they don't get spiritually
No,
damaged.
you do. You do get broken, but not as easy as a woman.
No, but still, at the end of the day, it still happens. Whether it takes longer to do, or longer to reach that point, or shorter, bro, it's still the same results. And we have a problem then in society, which clearly shows that this is a flawed way of thinking. It's as simple as that. Go on, anyways, read it.
But how am I going to know if a girl's a hoe if I don't sleep with 50 hoes?
Just read it.
I need to sleep with 50 hoes to know which one's not wifeable.
No, you need to...
I'm completely broken.
Take the correct process in finding a woman, and inshallah you will find a good, pious, righteous lady.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Completely broken, empty, and I don't want to live anymore. My family doesn't know what I've done, only my mother. Everyone who looks at me says I look lifeless. I've lost my appetite for food, lost the will to go on. I really need some advice, please. Do you think it's really because of the girls that's making them... There's got to be something else. It can't be... But
read this one as well.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. How are you? I hope you're well. So I was in a haram relationship, and today she ended it. Ugh. I'm completely devastated. I can't do it anymore. My heart hurts so much. Please help me. What can I do to make me feel better
and get over it? By the way, count how many times he says, please help me.
He's saying, please.
Right? Yeah, read it.
Shaykh, please help me. But alhamdulillah, it has come to an end, so I'm out of there again. But I still can't get her away from her. I can't stop thinking about her. If you know what I need to know about it, please help me. Shaykh, please help me. I don't want to come back into a haram relationship. If you have tips, please help me and tell me. I don't want to repeat the sin again. Shaykh, please help me.
Again, that's a message that I received on Instagram.
Do you believe that?
And this is the case of so many young brothers that have been caught up in this cycle of doing haram.
Of dating. Do you think that dating is practicing for divorce? Because when you date, you're essentially saying to the partner that you're with, this is temporary. I'm just trying you out. If something goes wrong, I'm out of here. Is dating just preparing yourself and breaking your soul one by one?
Bro, I'm telling you, Islam is so perfect in its rules and regulations, its commandments and prohibitions. It is there to serve, right, what we, right, are in dire need of. It's a mandate that you need to follow. It's a constitution. It's a blueprint that we need to follow, my friend. Right? And if we're not, this is the end result. While you have others who are in relationships, and of course, when you're doing things that is not pleasing to Allah, it's going to affect your relationships. But people have always been living their lives in this manner, right? Of getting married and having children, which in today's society is really looked down upon. With all of these different movements that came about. Do you want me to check out the other questions that they have?
They have so many, but...
Let me have a look at it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah? It's pouring in. This is going to be hard for you to read it.
Oh wow, there's like 7,000 people watching. There's a lot of Christians that are...
Yeah. Let them be. You don't want to read the chat, trust me.
No, I'm alright, don't worry.
Okay. Be nice, guys. Be nice.
Someone said Myron's logic is so broken. Is that the Sudanese brother?
That's the Sudanese brother. He's the leader, one of the major leaders of the Red Pill movement. A good friend of mine. One of my best friends.
And how is he doing?
He's good. I think he's good. It's hard to read him sometimes. There's a lot of guys that are pretty...
Where do you think he is, psychologically speaking?
I don't think he's depressed. I don't think that his soul's broken. I think he's happy. I think he's focused on work. I think the work keeps him going. But I do think that the Red Pill ideology is a reaction to feminism. And I think a lot of the guys in the Red Pill space that are leading the movement, they're not allowed to show vulnerable moments they're not allowed to say that they fall in love, because then the red pill guys who are all angry are going to be like, that's gay to fall in love. Like, they think that showing emotions is gay, but that's just...
Well, I'm going to keep repeating this. What determines what is right and what is wrong? Right? You look at the wars that are taking place. Everyone looked at Putin a certain way, right, for attacking Ukrainians. They all said that this is morally unacceptable and whatever have you, right? Someone else goes and does it. Oh, it's absolutely fine. You know, they're basically doing the right thing. Like, again, what is morally acceptable and what is wrong? Right? What determines for us what is right and what is not?
Where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line?
I love that argument.
Right?
Can I steal that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Where do you draw the line?
You don't even have to attribute it back to me, man.
Okay.
Post or whatever. I think it's a very thought-provoking question. Where do you draw the line of what is right and what is wrong?
No, there's no answer. There's no answer besides the Quran.
And this is the problem that a lot of atheists have. You speak to Suzanne, who's an atheist, she says to you that this is morally unacceptable. You go to Bob, who's also an atheist, he'll tell you, no, Suzanne's wrong. Okay, give me give me a moral compass of how I should live my life, of what is right and what is wrong. I sometimes hear Piers Morgan speaking in his debates and whatever have you. The man's lost with regards to what is morally acceptable and what is wrong.
Just what
and
he's
what
told.
is like a proportionate response and what is not. Because you just don't have a mandate, you don't have a manual, you don't have an external entity that has given you rules and regulations. Whatever view you come out with, someone's going to counter that, and we're going to be there all day long. It's as simple as that.
Do you think you could beat Piers Morgan in a debate?
Someone wants to set that up. I don't mind having a debate with him.
Okay.
Let me ask you another question, right?
Okay.
Cannibalism. You think that's morally acceptable?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because Allah says so.
No, put that to the side for a moment.
Okay.
SNEAKO, pre-Islam, pre-reversion, right?
Because it's gross.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Do you know that up until this very day, there are some places around the world where this is perfectly legal?
Right.
There's even, I've completely forgotten now, there is a city in Germany where it's still legal to eat other people. Let me ask a question. Bestiality, do you think it's morally acceptable?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Pre-reversion.
Love is love.
Okay, red pill SNEAKO, yeah, love is love.
Love is love, right?
Right.
Bro, you got kids identifying as cats and dogs. Right? Cats and dogs, and it's being legalized. Right?
Meow.
Yeah, she wants to walk in identifying as a certain animal. Like, you can't, that's the point that it's reaching, right? A child wants to identify as a boy from today on. It's fine. Tomorrow, if someone wants to have a relationship with an animal, tell me what is wrong with it. Where do you draw the line? If we go off the same logic of love is love, or this is fine and this is not, like for example the red pill movement, and then you have feminism as well, this is how it should and this is how it shouldn't. So there's going to continuously be broken homes, disputes, arguments between human beings. Let me tell you a story, right?
Tell me.
I was on my way to Australia to go give da'wah, right? I got invited. And we had to stop over in New Delhi, India. It's a long flight. You get bored, right? I was very tired as well. I had some books that I wanted to read, but I just didn't feel like it because of how tired I was. So me and Mark started speaking.
That was his name?
Mark. We'll call him Mark. I think that was his name, right? But we'll call him Mark just so we have a good idea of exactly what we're referring to, right? I was pretty tired. I was like, you know what? Let me just try and cheer myself up a little bit by giving da'wah to this guy, you know? So I said to Mark, why are you going all the way to Australia by yourself? He said, oh, me and my girlfriend just broke up. So me being a little bit nosy at the time, I said to him, why? Why'd you guys break up? He goes, I didn't like, this is a white male from the UK. He said to me, I didn't like the way she was dressing outside. And also the fact that she was having conversations with the opposite gender via text. I found some inappropriate conversations via text, and I didn't like that, so I called it off. So me, just playing devil's advocate, I said to him, Mark, right, why are you being so controlling for? Huh? Live and let be. Liberal values. Everyone's entitled to do as they wish. Shouldn't she be entitled to dress how she wants when she goes outside? Let me ask you a question. It's perfectly fine for a woman to go out in a miniskirt, right? According to many of the Western societies that we live in. It's fine.
Yeah.
Live and let be.
Her body, her choice.
Her body, her choice. Ahsan. Why can't she go outside naked? Not wear anything. Tell me why.
She can. Like in New York City, girls can walk around with their
No,
boobs
I'm
out.
saying like with
She should, because she's a queen.
No, but in most places, she's allowed to walk outside naked.
In New York, they can go, but no, not completely. No.
You know, generally speaking,
It's getting close. Though. It's getting close.
Yani, these are arguments that I heard religious scholars mention.
Yeah.
Right? It's her body, her choice. She can walk around without a hijab. She can walk around with a mini skirt. But when it comes to her walking around naked or not, this is something that is morally unacceptable in most places. And of course, Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, he told us, لا يأتي الزمان الذي بعده شر منه. There doesn't come a time except that the time that comes after is far worse. So this is not something that is far-fetched that is going to happen. Right? But again, my argument to these individuals is, who are thinking like this, where do you draw the line with regards to what her choice is and what she can now make evident from her body? Tell me where or when. Or what, and why, and how, and
Don't have an answer.
yeah, it's exactly what it is, my friend. Everything that you think about pertaining to how the West is fulfilling their liberal values,
Islam fixes
you
it.
will find contradictions, and you'll be left with no choice except to, soul searching, looking for that external entity. I just have to accept that I'm a slave, and I have to submit my will to a greater entity, and that is Allah.
Alhamdulillah.
Give me rules and regulations in order to live by.
Are these signs of the end times?
Without a shadow of a doubt, my friend.
You answer that really quick. The gender ideology,
Bro,
rampant obesity.
Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, 1400 years ago, he said the following: from the signs of the hour, min ashratis an yaqil al-ilm, knowledge will become scarce, ignorance will become widespread, zina will become extremely rampant. Isn't this what's happening right before our eyes now?
50 bodies.
Maybe even more than that.
Yeah, it's yeah.
وَيَكْثُرُ الْحَرْجِ, and also killings will become extremely, extremely rampant as well.
London, Chicago, New York.
London, Chicago, New York. Right? And the examples that the Messenger ﷺ gave us, or what he prophesied, are all, unfolding right before our eyes. Right?
How do we prepare for the end time?
By going back to the drawing board, working on ourselves, ready to meet Allah in the best state. Right? Simple as that.
The sooner, I've seen some Muslims talk about how they sin very frequently.
Also, can I mention another hadith that I just remembered? The Messenger of Allah, may peace and blessing be upon him, he says, أَخْوَفُ مَا أَخَافُ عَلَى أُمَّتِي عَمَلُ قَوْمِ لُوطٍ. That which I fear the most for my people is the actions of the people of Lot. It was the Prophet Lot.
Yeah.
Homosexuality and so on and so forth. This is what he mentioned 1400 years ago, that this is what he fears the most, and now it's extremely rampant. It's being shoved down our throats and rubbed on our faces.
Literally. What do they say about the story about Sodom and Gomorrah? Is that where that's where homosexuality started?
I think you're referring to the story of Lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yani, the Prophet Lot alayhi salatu wasalam, he would see that his people were tested with wanting to have relationships and sexual practices with the same gender. And he would say to them, مَا سَبَقَكُمْ بِهَا. Right? No one has ever preceded you on this. From the time of Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, by the way, Adam and Eve, all the way to the time of Lot, this was something that was completely unheard of. Right? This is when it started. Subhanallah. This was a nation, as mentioned to us in the Quran, they were destroyed. They flipped the fitrah, the natural disposition. So what did God do to them? He ended up flipping the earth on top of them. Right.
Where's Sodom and Gomorrah today?
Wallahi, I can't say with surety. Honestly, I can't.
Okay.
There's speculation that it might be here or might be there, but some of these things at times is very hard to really, unless we have like a textual evidence that has been authentically reported. Again, remember when I said to you before, we can't take anything, any narration that is brought to us that is attributed to our Prophet, unless we critically examine every aspect of that chain of narration. We have to check every person in there. Is he a trustworthy reporter? Right? Is he someone who was dignified individual? Right? Was he a transgressing individual? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Some people were saying that Sodom and Gomorrah is today where Israel is. Is that true?
I don't know, man.
There's no point in talking about it.
I really, I don't know.
What if I continue sinning? If I continue committing zina, continue doing drugs, drinking alcohol, and then right before I'm about to die, just take my shahada, and then I'm cleansed of all my sins?
But how do you know that that's actually going to be the case?
Just right before, when my last breath is there, just shahada.
You think it's that straightforward? I have a principle that our Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, told us. He said, whoever lives a certain way, that's how he's going to die. Right? It might be so easy to say your shahada on your deathbed.
Right.
But we've come across a lot of cases where one was on his deathbed and we tried to get him to say the shahada.
And he couldn't speak.
You know, not so long ago, I was in Manchester, I was delivering the Friday sermon. And I was giving many examples. Of how people died with a bad ending. Right? With a bad ending. Right? I gave a number of examples. After the Friday sermon, a Somali brother, he came up to me and he said, I want you to say this in your next lecture. I said to him, what are you referring to, uncle? He goes, this lecture that you just gave, it reminded me of something that recently happened in Somalia. So I was in Somalia and there was this lady on her deathbed. Right? They tried to get her to say the testification, the shahada, to bear witness that no one has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah and that Prophet Muhammad is final messenger. Right? Or just La ilaha illallah, the first part of it. Because the Prophet mentioned to us, whoever's last statement is La ilaha illallah, he will enter straight into Al-Jannah.
So if I'm getting into a car crash, just say that.
But do you think it's that easy for you to be able to say it?
No, I don't think so.
Right? It doesn't happen. There's a lot of people that haven't been fortunate enough to make that the last thing that ever came out of their mouths. So he said to me, they tried to get her to say La ilaha illallah, which is the testification, the shahada, the testimony, right? And guess what she started doing? She started turning her head to the left and she started humming. This was the same lady that would be invited over to parties to sing for the people. And the principle is, the way you live your life, that's how you're going to die. Of course, there might be exceptional circumstances, where an individual may have been sincere and for whatever reason that God is knowing of, where he's given an opportunity to die in a wonderful way. Right? I've come across people who died and the last thing that was coming out of their mouths was a lyric from a song. Yeah.
So live the life the way you're supposed to.
That you want to die upon. You're only increasing your chances of dying like that. And Allah is fair and He's just. Someone who thinks you can deceive God, right? I'm going to live my life and then I'm going to say the shahada before I die. Bro, how do you even think you're going to be able to be given that success to do that?
Right. Live righteously.
Live righteously and hopefully you will die in a righteous way. I've given a whole lecture on this, in fact. Like you see pictures going around of someone holding the Quran, or he's in prayer and that was the last thing that he done. Perhaps he lived the life of that. Like think about it, right? Let me give you a logical example.
Okay.
If someone is listening to music all day long, what's the likelihood that he will die with music?
Pretty high.
Do you always get a reminder before you're about to depart from this world?
No.
Does the angel of death come knocking on your door and say, listen mate, get ready, you've got 5 minutes left?
He does not.
Right? How many people die in car crashes? How many people just get shot like that? Right? So if you're living your life of just listening to music all the time, what is the likelihood that you will die like that? Very likely. If you're on your phone all day long, what is the likelihood that you will die with your phone in your hand? Not that I'm saying it's haram to use your phone, but it becomes haram depending on what you're accessing.
Or who you follow, what you look at on social media.
If you're reading Quran all the time, you're doing that which is righteous, what is the likelihood that you'll die like that? Very likely. It's common sense, isn't it? There was a brother that one time my cousin told me about. He died on the football pitch. Right? dying on the football pitch is not like dying listening to music. You guys say soccer, huh? Soccer pitch.
Soccer.
So I asked later on, you know, when...
A bit of footy, lad. Sorry.
So I asked my cousin later on down the line, what kind of life did he? He goes, bro, this brother loved playing football. Again, playing football or soccer isn't actually haram. It's not haram. It's not haram. So, we're just in a live stream. Yeah? Is that right? Yeah. Okay, me, I don't take photos with girls, you know? Yeah? Is that right? Yeah. If I let you guys, all the girls are going to come running. And we're going to have another Minnesota. Yeah? Inshallah. Yeah? Alright.
Nice to meet you.
You guys can watch it live, inshallah. You guys can. Yeah?
3 girls just came up and he doesn't take pictures with girls. I should do the same.
I can't open that door, man.
Yeah.
So,
you're gonna die the way you
it's as simple as that.
So if you take pictures with girls all the time, the likelihood you're gonna die next to it.
Maybe you're gonna lose you.
Imagine, astaghfirullah. You live righteously.
Yeah, inshallah. That's basically the moral of the story. Yeah.
Any more from the chat? 2 God pilled, they're all saying W.
And God pill? Is that another one now?
God pill. That's
basically...
We take the God pill here on my stream.
MashaAllah.
Is that a good phrase?
Huh?
Take the... Yeah, no?
Meaning the religious pill. I think that's what they're referring to, right?
Pill, just leave it alone?
Metaphorically speaking, I think.
Another Minnesota, if you know, you know. What happened in Minnesota?
I told you earlier, innit?
Oh, right,
like
right.
7,000 people turned up.
They passed out and started fainting.
Well, I don't know whether it was 7,000. Maybe it's exaggerated, but this is what more than one person said.
So if you take a picture with a girl, there's going to be 7,000 people that show up?
No. I mean, like, they're all going to start, you know, coming and this, that, and it can get, you know, really out of control. And... Assalamu alaikum.
I know you were still here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Is he Brother Grid by any chance?
Yeah, he was here. I think he was... Wallah, he was there earlier.
Walaikum salam. Nice to meet you.
I don't feel comfortable with it as well, right? Someone may try to argue with me that this is not free mixing, whatever have you, but I think it's too close. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, the biggest fitna that men have are women. Am I wrong to say that?
And that's 100% true.
This is our weakness as men. Right?
Number one.
You know, as much as they might try to make it look like that they are strong and whatever have you, Allah tells us in the Quran, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. Man has been created weak. Imam Ahmad or Sufyan al-Thawri he said that the weakness here means he's trying to lower his gaze, and then a woman walks past, he just can't, you know, hold himself back.
With that.
Right? And when you think about it as well, a lot of the filth and the evil that we fall into, the root cause of it is a glance.
Yeah.
Us looking at it. And I told you this the other day, what the eyes can't see,
the heart can't,
or won't desire.
The heart won't desire.
That's exactly how it is. A lot of things that we begin to desire and that we begin to want to acquire, right? Is because of something that we looked at, right? I seen this nice car, now I have to basically get it. Okay, he doesn't have the money, he's gonna maybe even he's either gonna try and steal it, or he's gonna take a haram mortgage out, or, you know, interest, and he's gonna drive himself into the ground. Or this woman now that he wants to do something with, it all started with a glance. He didn't lower his gaze, and then just completely spiraled out of control.
It's hard to lower your gaze in the West. Here, it's a reminder when you see the women with the burqa on. Yeah. You're reminded, okay, this is supposed to be protecting our sisters. Yeah. We can't be looking at them, objectifying them. But now I'm thinking about going back to Miami and the stuff about the booty shorts and everything they're wearing, the giant lips and the outfits. It's a lot more difficult over there in the West.
Yeah.
Can I ask you another personal question? I know you may not want to confess your sins, but what do you have the most trouble with? Which sin?
Well, I just put it this way: we all have shortcomings that we're trying to overcome, and Allah Azza wa Jal has concealed my shortcomings, and I don't think it would be right to kind of like
exactly
speak about it publicly. And that's the general principle 100%. For everyone.
100%.
Everyone has shortcomings, and we are told in light of the Sharia that we should not be exposing the sins that we have fallen into.
100%.
Right? We all have shortcomings, akhi. Anyone who says to you doesn't have shortcomings and
challenges,
he's a liar, akhi.
And that's another shortcoming.
I don't care how big of a sheikh or a scholar you are. Everyone has shortcomings.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
SNEAKO ask if I can say Ya Ali near Kaaba.
So, what he's basically saying, I think this guy is actually a Shiite. You have heard of the Sunnis and the Shias, right? What I've witnessed in the past, and this is first-hand experience, of them invoking the great companion Ali ibn Abi Talib.
So I can tell that's
right?
right?
And of course you can't. When we make dua directly to who?
Allah alone.
Allah Azza wa Jalla alone. I've actually witnessed this around the Kaaba. One guy one time was screaming, "Oh Ali, save us from the hellfire."
Yeah, that's all right. That's shirk. That's the number one.
Yeah,
that's pagan.
Knows, man. It's paganism, right?
Because the whole idea of Islam is one. Tawheed. It's just everything's one. So even then, like I see people
in every act of worship, we need to be making it solely for none other than God. Whether it's dua, invoking, whether it's the prayer, whether it is anything else.
I even saw it. We're in Medina right now, on the Prophet's grave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I saw some people there were like kind of. It was close to almost worshiping, and I think that could be dangerous. And the whole point of Islam is to protect from worship of any.
And that's the greatest sin. The greatest sin is shirk, which is to associate partners of God or to divert acts of worship to other than God. And no one should be getting anywhere close to that whatsoever. We need to take precaution. Right?
So kissing the Kaaba, things like that, is that also shirk?
No, but the reason why we kiss the Kaaba is because the Prophet done it. And we're doing it simply because the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, done it.
But when you see people walking around, they're like climbing and trying to, is that...
Yeah, of course, there's exaggerations and everything. We need to basically just stick to what the Prophet mentioned. Whenever you have a question about, should I do this, should I not? The first question that should come to mind is,
what did the Prophet do?
What did the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, and his companions do? And that's how we should be living our lives. That's our blueprint. Right? Nothing more, nothing less. Does that make sense? Try and hit that blueprint, perfectly. The same way an engineer erects buildings and, he follows the blueprint, right, of what he needs to do. That's how we should basically be living our lives as Muslims.
If it's sunnah or not.
Yeah. You need to ask, did the Prophet do it? Did the Messenger ﷺ carry it out like this? Did the companions do it in this way? That's a question that we should always ask.
What will happen to the pagans after, when they die? Where are they going?
So we are told that if you do not embrace and submit yourself to monotheism, right, in the Quran, that your abode will be none other than the hellfire. Anything other than that, you are under the will of God. He may choose to forgive you, right, as long as you have tawheed, right? He may choose to forgive you, or you may be punished in the hellfire, right? And I don't think we want to even have a 1% chance of being burnt in the hellfire. That is 1/70th of the fire that we kindle with, or should I say the fire that we kindle with in this world is 1/70th
of the hellfire.
Yeah,
I don't want to take that chance, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't want to take that chance.
You get sometimes burnt using, the stove.
Right.
You can barely bear it,
70 times more?
There.
That's tough. Let me ask you this, because we have so many Christians watching.
Yeah.
That I see online, especially when it comes to the liberalism and the feminism and the LGBT indoctrination, that the Christians and Muslims, we see that we have a lot in common, especially when it comes to resisting that indoctrination. Do you consider Christians brothers? What do you think, especially recently, the last year and a half?
I will say that they are more closer to us than many of the other religions.
Okay.
They are closer to us than many of the other religions. And if they just moved away from the pagan aspects of what they involve themselves in, then, right, they'll be even more and more closer.
Right.
Does that make sense?
And it's one step away. If they really embrace the idea, if Christians embrace monotheism,
like when you think about it,
Islam
also the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
At times we're hearing that Jesus is God, and at another time we're being told that He is the Son of God, and whatever have you, right?
He's a man and a God at the same time.
Yeah, man and a God at the
same
time.
I grew up Catholic. Holy Spirit, I don't even know what that is. And then we eat the body of Christ, and I'm eating God while you're eating the cracker. Then you drink alcohol. Kids are drinking alcohol and it's blood. Why am I drinking Jesus' blood? These don't feel disrespected, Christians watching. That is what you do. These practices are.
And we believe that He's a prophet. You can't be a Muslim except that He is an actual
and the
prophet.
Messiah, correct?
Yeah.
So Jesus is coming back.
Yeah, He will eventually
to stop
return.
the jaw.
Yeah. And to really just think about it, right? Every Christian that I've ever spoken to, whenever I brought this up, okay, at times you're saying that he's a son of God, while at the same time he's God. So what happened? God was crucified. Okay, when God was crucified, where is God? A son of God. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and if he is indeed God, then how was he not able to protect himself against these people who tried to take his life? God is,
the best of planners.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It honestly really never made sense to me.
No, me neither.
And to a lot of other Christians, it didn't make sense to them, hence why they ended up just leaving Christianity altogether and putting a big X on religion.
Oh, completely.
Right?
Yeah.
Which I don't think is right, of course.
No. It's better to be a Christian than an atheist.
Yeah.
Tell them they want to hear another Quran recitation if you can. You really are a hafiz. I didn't expect that. You're a hafiz. It took 8 months. How much studying did you do every day to become a hafiz?
I was doing a lot, man. It was
4 or 5 hours a day?
A lot more than that.
Whew, for 8 months?
Yeah, but with everything, you have to make sacrifices, right?
Right.
You can't expect to achieve anything in life by being a chiller. Is that what you guys say? Chiller.
It's funny when you use the American accent once in a while. You're like, soccer, chiller.
Like, I remember, subhanAllah, reading up on Elon Musk. I believe he was 16 hours a day that he was putting into his Tesla and SpaceX and whatever have you. I read it a very long time ago. It doesn't surprise me that he's one of the richest people on the face of this earth.
Right.
You look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Right?
He's a Muslim now, right?
No, he's not a Muslim.
Really? I saw him...
No, I don't think he's Muslim.
He did a rakat after he scored.
Did he?
Yeah.
Sujood, you mean?
Sujood.
Frustration.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe when he announces, we'll probably find out.
He's probably taking his time, still learning. He's a very public figure, so he doesn't want to immediately...
I honestly believe that, it's not far-fetched that he will...
Inshallah, Ronaldo, you're welcome.
Embrace Islam. Yeah. Being in that environment, if you have a lot of Muslims around you,
you're going to see the truth in it.
Yeah, eventually, hopefully you will.
You're in the barbershop long enough, you're going to get your
Recently
haircut.
I heard, because I was in Riyadh, that one of the restaurant owners actually mentioned that he's very much interested into Islam. Yeah. There's a restaurant that he goes to over there.
MashaAllah.
I'm not going to expose his location, but this is what I heard. So, there's high hopes, inshallah ta'ala, that one day him and the rest as well will really open up to the truth. Yeah, inshallah ta'ala.
Right, so I made a mistake. So the difference is sujood and rakat.
Sujood is prostration on the ground.
Rakat is a whole...
To bow.
Okay.
That's basically the rakat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to a lot of Christians?
Should we give them a
right
recitation?
Now? Yes, I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I asked earlier.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لقد كان لسبأ في مسكنهم آية جنتان عن يمين وشمال كلوا من رزق ربكم واشكروا له بلدة طيبة ورب غفور فأعرضوا فأرسلنا عليهم سيل العرم وبدلناهم بجنتيهم جنتين ذواتي أكل خمط وأثل وشيء من سدر قليل ذلك جزيناهم بما كفروا وهل نجازي إلا الكفور.
Ameen. MashaAllah, that was beautiful.
Which qira'ah is that?
That's khalaf.
Oh, MashaAllah.
Thank you. Wow.
Yujaza.
Wow.
I think that's the other one. Yeah.
I think we should end on that. Yeah. That was beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate
Honestly, it's
that.
been an absolute pleasure. Wallahi, I really
thank you so much. I really
commend you for
this.
taking the trip all the way here in order to ask questions.
Of course.
Honestly, remind me of something that the righteous of the people, the righteous of the past would do, where they would travel maybe a month's distance by foot in order to ask for one hadith, and then they would go back. And sometimes they might even find that person that they wanted to take the hadith from, he passed away. right? So you can, inshallah, consider yourself someone who's gone out trying to seek knowledge. Hopefully you'll do it more on a bigger scale as well,
Inshallah.
right? On a more, what's the word that I'm looking for? A more consistent basis, inshallah. But honestly, this has been really, really good, because that which is going to save all of us is none other than knowledge, right? As I was mentioning to some brothers earlier, we have the fitna of temptations and the fitna of doubts. People are going to try and throw a lot of doubts at you.
They do.
Right? To really shake your faith. Right? And that which is going to really help us shield ourselves from these doubts that come our way is none other than knowledge. Right? And there's so much more to learn.
There's so much more
to learn.
How many years of studying have you done?
So I've spent a total of 10 years abroad. Right? For example. ها؟
هذا لل
حياك الله.
حياك الله.
علومك زينة.
السلام عليكم.
ما رأيت حول ماذا يعني؟
والله هذا بودكاست تقريبا يعني.
كيف؟
الأخ هذا من المشاهير جاء إلينا لأرض الحرمين.
ما شاء الله.
يريد أن يعتمر، وهو من
دقيقة فقط. نعم.
تسمع إلى من؟ شيخ عبد الرزاق البدر والنعم. الله يبارك فيك.
They're saying W stream right now. The chat's they really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed this podcast.
ما في مشكلة. لكن
Before I do the outro, I pronounce it Abu Taymiyyah.
Abu Taymiyyah.
I said it right.
Yeah, you said it right.
Abu Taymiyyah.
That's it, yeah.
Okay, well, make sure that my incompetent team fixes the title. I really feel bad about that. That was not me. I can even show you the conversation. I said, make sure.
It's absolutely fine.
Wallahi, I said,
Don't
make
worry
sure
too
you
much
spell
about
his
it,
name
man.
right. But I have the pagans working for me. They do it. You had your umrah?
طلب العلم عند الشيخ عبد الرزاق.
You had your umrah today?
He doesn't speak English.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll talk after. Well, I need to end the. Can you tell me I need to end the podcast?
سنتخلص من هذا إن شاء الله ثم نتكلم إن شاء الله. ما في مشكلة.
Inshallah ta'ala, my brothers and my sisters who have been listening, and also to the non-Muslims, I want to invite every single one of you guys to take this journey so much more seriously. Right? Even there are a lot of people who were born upon an Islam but have never ever tasted the sweetness of this faith, simply because we haven't really gone out to learn about our religion. Right? Please, my brothers and my sisters, and to all the non-Muslims who are listening, right, explore al-Islam. Why are people like Andrew Tate, why are people like my brother here, SNEAKO, right, embracing al-Islam? I'm not saying that, right, you're going to become perfect, or any one of them are perfect, or even myself is perfect. People are not perfect, but Islam is perfect. But they must have seen something in order for them to really pay attention to this religion. Right? So this is my advice to you guys, inshallah. Right? I really hope you guys at least give yourselves a chance by looking into al-Islam. And I will guarantee you it will really blow your mind away. Right? Especially with everything that we've been seeing happening in the last couple of weeks with our Palestinian brothers. Why are so many of these Western governments, right, trying to bury the reality of what's actually happening, voting against a ceasefire and whatever have you, right? Like what happened in the UK, right? The West, is it really the answer, my friends that are listening? I hope, inshallah ta'ala, we can stop on that note. You guys take care of yourselves, and until then, hopefully maybe one day we'll have another get together. He's going to be leaving, I'm going to be going back to my studies. Right, and yeah, anything you guys need, I'm always there for you guys, man.
Where can
honestly
we find more of your videos?
Well, I have a YouTube channel called Abu Taymiyyah. Also have Instagram and Twitter. So, inshallah.
We'll make sure to put the links in the description and everything. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, bro, it's been a pleasure, man.
I really
honestly.
appreciate this.
Right, someone did say to me that SNEAKO has a good heart, and honestly, I've actually seen that. It's pretty evident, the fact that you really want to learn, and hopefully you will continue this journey. Don't stop. Continue learning, asking questions. Right? No one's ever going to be perfect, and we're just going to try, inshallah, to be the better, our better selves, inshallah.
Live righteously.
That's it, man.
Disappointed. I'm like the same boat as you. I have to go back to the West. I have to leave the Holy Land and go back to the land of Shaitan. But bring the knowledge that we've acquired here and make sure we can do the right thing every day. And my team members, they're upset at me right now. I love my team members. Just so we got to spell the name right. So I'm just joking. They're a good team. Peace and blessings upon everybody watching this. I wish you the best, and I will strive to do the best I could possibly do, using my platform the right way. I really appreciated this trip and everything I learned here, and I highly recommend for new Muslims and any Muslims to take a trip to Mecca and Medina, come to the Holy Land. It's exactly what it was.
I don't even want to leave, man. Me, personally, I was in the UK for a year and a half. I did all those trips. Wallahi, my heart was really craving to go back to Medina, man. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah. Thank you so much. And I love you guys. Make sure to follow God. And we'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned. Bye.